in trouble, brothers and sisters. We in trouble right there. Let me get this stuff up so I can see what's going on with you guys right there. Welcome once again, guys. We are finally back. We finally made it to another Mr. Licks BRBP TV live interaction reaction on this Sunday edition, brothers and sisters. Welcome once again to every single one of you guys. Let me make sure I tune in to ensure that everything is up and par. Everything is copacetic on this thing right there. Are you guys okay? I'm seeing myself. Okay, you guys are definitely not seeing me right now, but of course we are coming through with it once again. Welcome, brothers and sisters, and of course we are back with another live interaction reaction on BRBP TV. Let me switch this stuff so I can see what's going on this thing, so I can see if you guys are in the chat. Definitely don't forget, guys, I tend to always give my 10-minute waiting period right there. Oh, I ain't even set up nothing. That's crazy. All right, I tend to give my 10-minute waiting period, guys, and of course I want to see where you guys are at. I kind of started a bit late, no doubt about it, but better late than never. But I'm not planning to stay long on this one at all, and just making sure I have everything. Okay, cool. Okay, we have 6 of you guys in the building. Welcome to the 6 individuals in the building. Normally, like I indicated before, I tend to always leave a 10-minute break before I start. As soon as I start, so individuals can come in. Obviously, this is a live interaction reaction, guys. You can leave your thoughts in the live chat. Let me switch over from top chat to live chat, and of course I will be seeing your live chats when you speak in the live chat room, guys. 8 of you guys in the building. So far, 0 likes, guys. Click the thumbs up button for me. Click the thumbs up button. We're gonna get into that vibrations right there. Just click the like button for me one time. I'd appreciate that right there. And of course, the individuals who are watching, definitely let me know where you guys are watching from. I would really like to see that right there. Where are you guys watching from? Are you hearing me loud and clear? What's going on with you guys? The Sunday edition for today, yet again. By the way, guys, I'll be doing a number of podcasts in the coming week, so look out for the vibrations right there. I think I have to do one on Tuesday. Well, there's a whole thing that has to go into that one, so I'll be doing that as well, and then dropping them gems. So on this BRBP TV platform, I definitely want to be doing at least 2 videos per week, brothers and sisters. Hopefully we can make it happen. It's gonna be a heck of a time frame, man. It's gonna be a heck of a time frame, but we're gonna make it happen, no doubt about it right there. By the way, guys, I have my Kako tea. Yes, sir. And the Kako tea is still hot, you know, guys, since morning that day. I don't know what kind of flask this is, but respect the flask, eh? The opening properly. Oh. Whoa, oh my God. That's crazy right here. Guys, let me just let me go wipe that stuff. It just blew up on me here. Hold on, guys. Where you guys watching from? 2 likes so far. Yes, guys. Check the vibrations. Let me go and take this thing out. Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, we fresh and we back. Okay, that was something else. I wanted to get my Kako tea in, man. I say next time I come on the live, I need to have my Kako tea in so that we don't make any mistakes right there. But of course, guys, where are you guys watching from? Let me see how much of you guys are in the building right now. There are 20 of you guys. What, 25? Brothers and sisters are just waiting for me, man. Yes, guys. So we back. I just feel some Kako tea on me there. That's crazy. But you know, you have to have your Kako tea from time to time, man. We're going to spill the tea today. 25 of you guys in, only 3 likes. Juliet Coffee, good night to you. Big up to you being a part of this here vibrations, guys. And of course, 25 of you guys in the building. Don't forget to click the like button for me, please. I would appreciate that right there. Click the thumbs up button. And of course, where are you guys watching from? Atlanta, Georgia. Big up yourself, Juliet. I appreciate you for being in the building right there. We're going to get into some interesting stuff, guys. And I'm going to try my best to break things down. Obviously, you can give your thoughts as well on it. And of course, there's a lot to be discovered when it comes on to the situation that is taking place or presently taking place from as of yesterday. I remember when if most of you guys, well, I'm not sure if most of you guys saw it, but a number of you guys actually saw the reaction that I did on the Miss Licks reaction, guys. And let me tell you something now. It's interesting what is going on in Dominica, brothers and sisters. Royan Clark, big up yourself. Good night from Dominica. Where in Dominica are you watching from? Let me know that in the comment, in the live chat as well. Fragari, what Fragaria? My Dominican accent heavy on that. Fragaria. Vesca. Hello everyone, big up yourself one time. Where are you watching from? Where are you guys watching from? Let me see how much minutes in this thing so far, guys. We have 6 minutes. We have like 4 minutes. Less than 4 minutes remaining. Ooh. A kakoti. Kakoti. Just come down, brothers and sisters. It does come down, man. Yes, man. 32 of you guys are in the building right there. I appreciate you guys for definitely being a part of these vibrations. And of course, 7 likes. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, guys. We're going to get into that vibe, man. We need to get into that vibe. 34 of you guys in the building. Linus Joseph, good night. John Joseph from Jude. Huh? Good night, John Joseph. Oh, I'm guessing that's your name. John Joseph from Jude. Where is Jude? Is Jude a place? Help me. Talk to me. Talk to me nicely. We got Brooklyn in the building. I was Brooklyn the other day, you know, guys. I was Brooklyn, but I was only there for like a day. I was there for a day. And I did my stuff. Came in, did my stuff, and then flew back down. I'm not really a fan of New York anymore, guys. I check in New York. It's only when vibes there, and then you come back and you go back. Back and forth, back and forth. Thank God having the ability to fly or use the bus. That's one of the things that I love to do, especially when you see I have long journeys. I was like, you know what? Let me just take the bus from North Carolina to New York. Take the bus in the nighttime, sleep on the serious AC. If you have your blanket, you're chilling. Sometimes they stop. You can stay in the bus or you go. If you want to get like a midnight snack or something, you hop off the bus, get the midnight snack, come back on the bus. And then by the time like 9 o'clock in the morning, a.m., you're back in New York. So I kind of like that vibes right there. Or when I don't want to, or if I want to reach New York faster, I tend to just take the plane. Sometimes the tickets are cheap. I got a ticket for like $102 or something of that sort. Oh, a trick that I tend to do, guys. 44 of you guys in the building right now. 44 of you guys are in the building right now. Click the like button for me, please, guys. If you've not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe as well. I would appreciate that. Of course, obviously, that means that you'll be notified when I post my videos right there. Julieta Coffee, always a pleasure listening to you and always keeping us abreast of things. Thank you. I'm just happy to do it, guys. I'm just happy to do it. I have the means, I have the contacts, I have the affiliations. So I always tend to try to bring the information to you guys. They say if you always keep information for yourself, then you are the one that's responsible for the ignorance of others. So that's one of the things that I like to do, is sharing the information that I receive. And of course, you guys giving your input in it as well. Now, guys, sometimes when I give the information, I don't, especially when I'm doing for the reactions, I might know the answer to it, but I'm asking the question on the basis of, what do you think? You know, trying to weigh things on a logical point of view. Because in this day and age that we live in, brothers and sisters, weighing things on a common sense point of view can be insane, you know? Like sometimes we tend to put our feelings in front of logic. And I think that is very, very bad. That's why when I do my reactions, I always try to ask questions on the matter, even though I might know the answer to it, or even though I might know something. Also, even though I might know something, but you know, you don't want to get sued. So you have to know how to say it, because sometimes you always, you know, I'm sure you guys have known journalists to be saying things like, allegedly, I love that word. I love it. 42 of you guys in the building right now. I appreciate all you guys coming in, no doubt about it. And of course, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. So Julieta, I appreciate you watching the videos right there. Jarrell Moulon, Whitchurch, big up the Whitchurch Massive. I definitely want to link up with the Whitchurch Massive, man, for us to do some stuff right there. Roso, big up. I appreciate that for definitely watching the videos right there. We have a number of things coming up for the Caribbean right there, guys. So it's gonna be interesting for the vlog. So if you've not subscribed to the vlog channel, guys, definitely subscribe to the vlog channel. And of course, we can definitely get that going right there. Linus Joseph Girardel, okay, is in the house. Big up Girardel one time. I see some people clicking the heart. Oh yeah, you can click the heart button, brothers and sisters. I would appreciate that. I appreciate some love. Today's my birthday, so we gotta get some love in there as well. Right there, guys. Dana, USVI, La Plaine. Okay, big up one time. Big up. I understand that. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw a video of the USVI, and I think there was ICE going around and searching for, I'm guessing, people. So they're not just doing that in the mainland. It seems like they're doing that in the smaller countries as well. You guys can let me know that if that is actually accurate right there. Let me see what time it is. Okay, guys, time to get started. Time to pop it. Drop it like it's hot. So I appreciate all those in the live chat right there, guys. And of course, don't forget to leave your thoughts so I can read it as well. Anyways, brothers and sisters, we're starting off first with a number of things right there, that of which I must push forward because there seems to be something coming up on the 18th of March. And that is definitely something I want to make aware to the masses right there, because I don't think individual understand. One of the things that people need to understand is the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, the Caribbean, everybody's looking at Dominica on the basis of this whole CBI situation. And it's not just the CBI, because Dominica has a lot of problems, brothers and sisters. It has a lot of problems. CBI is just one of the factors. The next one, or the closest one actually, is that of the electoral reform. Obviously, we know that Skerrit has done electoral reform a number of times and has been indicated that he's going to be giving electoral reform to the Dominican people. But unfortunately, it seems like he's going to be giving his electoral reform. And this is why it's so important that individuals definitely show up, because the world will be looking, the world will be watching right there on that merit. So they're saying on this poster, stop Skerrit from going to parliament with his electoral reform bills. Okay? Dominica, it's your right to stop the parliamentary ruling on March 18, 2025. Hit the streets like you did for Carnival time. I love it, brothers and sisters. Carnival time is pretty much an epic way to make the people understand that they need to show up in numbers. I think some people are actually waiting for the unions to come together for them to come, because some people are scared. And don't get me wrong, I understand some people are scared. But sometimes, brothers and sisters, the unification of individuals coming together is what actually is going to make things happen. If one person, two persons is doing it, they will say, well, wait a while, I'm going to get victimized. And as a result of that, they don't show up. Whereas if you come collective, you see 20, 30, 40,000 people come. Oh my God, that would be absolutely beautiful. That is where you know that the Dominican people are going to be actually serious. And the things that are happening to Dominica, the overseas world will see, or the international community will see, that Dominica is not making any joke in that regard. It's far too long that Dominica has been, taken for Wizip. And it seems like a lot of the ignorance is being spewed to the people, and the people are swallowing because that's what the leaders say. I don't think people understand, because I think during the whole Rona situation, the whole, vax season, brothers and sisters, when the government officials, when the political officials and the doctors, all of them will come to say, hey guys, this is something that is good. Even though you know deep in your heart that you know that this was not good at all. At all, brothers and sisters. So I think individuals definitely need to show up for this one right there. There's also, it's interesting also, brothers and sisters. It seems like during that time, the Dominican Labour Party invites you to a meet and greet with labor rights in St. Martin. And I'm thinking to myself, because this is apparently on the same day that's going to happen, and it seems like this might just be a gathering of sorts, because if he's going to be in Parliament, then how on earth he's going to be St. Martin unless, he flies out on a private plane, which he's then going to take on the behalf of the people to do so. Because he's the Prime Minister of Dominica, he can then take the people's money to do whatever he wants. True or false? I don't think that is accurate at all. I think it should pass under the people, and the people should agree or disagree. This is where Parliament comes in. It seems like Parliament is just a joke for people to just come and say stuff and kick stuff on the other side because they are not the majority of the House, and the Mr. Speaker is just like a wizard. The very people have to be correcting the Mr. Speaker. Boy, that's something else, guys. That is truly something else right there. So Operation Restore Hope. Obviously, this one will be on March 19th, 2025. I think this is on the Wednesday. And we the people have the power. I'm supposed to be seeing people just like all these individuals that you're seeing at the bottom of this thing, man. This is how I'm supposed to be seeing Dominicans. Dominicans, you guys have no idea what is at stake, my God. No idea at all what is at stake. I think it's necessary and vital for us to understand that. Because if we don't understand this, brothers and sisters, Dominica will be handed. I was actually talking. There's a Cuban video inside this. We're going to be talking about that in a moment, brothers and sisters. But I remember speaking to an individual on the merit of what is taking place in Cuba. And a number of persons are saying, hey, how can Trump do this to Cuba and all those kind of things there? But when you talk to the people of Cuba, they themselves feel like they want some level of liberation. And it's interesting that I'm also seeing that in the United States as well. Individuals are crying for communism. Wow. Individuals are crying for communism in the United States. If you think I'm lying, Google it. There's a communism uprising in the United States. The younger folks, for some sort of reason, maybe their laziness or something, probably checking they want to go into some sort of socialistic understanding. And with this socialistic understanding, they're trying to push a communism movement in the United States. Brothers and sisters, if too much people come with that idea, you know what's going to happen to the United States? Communism. But it seems like in Dominica, we're actually handing this over to the very people themselves. We're handing it over to Skerrit. We're telling Skerrit, okay, you know what? Skerrit already come on camera and say he want to do what he want. Why don't the people just let him do what he want? He's already doing it, He's just telling the people, hey, why don't you just let me do what I want? It's very interesting, brothers and sisters. Let me see. Happy. Oh, I appreciate the love, brothers and sisters, for the birthday greetings. Big up, big up, big up, big up, Vredins, big up, Fagaria, and of course, big up Dana one time. La Plain Massive, no doubt about it. Happy birthday. Okay, Anton. It's Anthony or Anton? Anthony. Hopefully I pronounce it properly. Antoine. I say Anthony. Antoine Talbert. Houston in the house, brother. Like your program. Thanks for the information. I was actually in Houston about 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. Then was Carnival. Yeah. Just before Carnival, brothers and sisters, I was in Houston, man. Actually met up with a number of folks in Houston. And of course, I love Houston. Houston is always a vibe. 68 of you guys in the building right now. Don't forget to click the like button, brothers and sisters, helping to push these videos further and further. If you don't want to share, just clicking the like button will help push these videos further and further out there. So just click the like button for me as well. Julieta, blessed. Happy birthday to you. Wishing you God's blessings, health, prosperity, happiness, and whatever your wishes are may be granted to you by the Most High. Yeah, man. The Most High, trust me, the Most High has indeed blessed me. This is one of the reasons why I'm able to do this kind of things, man. This is one of the reasons why I'm able to do these things. So I'm very much appreciative, no doubt about it, to him for the blessings and the gifts and the talents, and he's multiplied the talents, man. Oh my goodness. I'm just happy that he has blessed me, and I know that he has blessed you too. One of the things I always tell people, never short your talent. Never short it. Keep using it, and you never know, it might just grow into something else and then multiply. I think that is always a blessing right there. St. Martin is in the building. Dutch or French side? Let me know that right there, guys. I think I'm not sure if I'll be coming to St. Martin, but I hopefully should be coming to St. Martin a bit later on. Soon, I think. I'm not sure, but anyways, brothers and sisters. Anyways, guys, let's get back to the vibrations right there. Now, before I get into the whole vibes, there was an interesting story that went out about a missing girl, a 9-year-old missing girl, and I think a number of persons, since a lot of Antiguans tend to watch my videos as well, I think it only makes sense that I post this out right there.
Of Antigua, Barbuda. Fellow citizens and residents of Antigua, Barbuda. I'm addressing you now with a heavy heart. several recent events in our beloved country have caused me great distress. Each is disturbing, but the murder of 9-year-old Chantal Crump is particularly painful.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I are parents of a 4-year-old girl, and I was at the time at the hospital with her when I received the sad news of Chantal. I know how worried I was about my own daughter's illness, and I can only imagine the deep sorrow, profound grief of Chantal's family. Thankfully, my daughter is recovering from a vicious flu and its attendant symptoms, which included a recurrent fever. She's expected to be discharged from the hospital this evening, and I give thanks to the Almighty for his mercy and loving care. However, the sadness over Chantal continues to weigh heavily on me. I cannot honestly say that I do not feel anger and outrage at the murder of this innocent child. Let me assure everyone in our country that my administration will not rest until justice is delivered in full measure to the perpetrators. This is not only on behalf of Chantal and her family, but also to safeguard every other child and every other person from anyone in our society who would commit such heinous acts. We resolve that Antigua and Barbuda must be safe for all our people. It must be particularly safe for all our children. My government will vigorously investigate all who may be involved in crimes of this nature and determine their motivations. Not only will we bolster the investigative power of the police, but we will also enhance their capacity by providing cadaver dogs trained to find bodies and to detect DNA traces of those involved in killings. We will stamp out this evil that has befallen our country before it spreads any further. As a nation, we mourn Chantal Crump, and as a nation, we must resolve individually and collectively to ensure that there are no further acts of this kind. However, law enforcement cannot do it alone. We must report all suspicious activities, send a clear message to anyone who commits or plots such crimes that we will not allow them to contaminate our country, to harm our children, or intimidate our society. I solemnly pledge to allocate all the resources necessary to end such evil in Chantal's name and for the safety and well-being of all our children.
Now, I'm not sure what kind of wicked person would like to kidnap a little girl and then decide that they want to take the person's life. A 9-year-old, I found this very shocking, man. Very, very shocking indeed. But of course, there was a breaking news of a woman who was charged with the murder of Chantal Crump. And of course, that individual is none other than 20-year-old Angela Mijaya. And of course, she has been charged with the murder of 9-year-old Chantal Crump. Police laid the charges less than 24 hours after Crump was found dead in bushes in the Weather Rails area. I think I saw somebody stating that in my chat in the Weather Rails. I was like, where's that? But anyways, this is somewhere in Antigua. In the early hours of Saturday, Mejia showed law enforcers the location where the girls, she actually did. And this is the girl right there, brothers and sisters. This is the face. I actually saw 2 photos in that regard for that little girl, man. I mean, why are people so wicked so? Anyway, she showed law enforcement the location where the girl's body was found, a discovery which sent shockwaves and anguish across the nation, promoting calls for swift justice to be meted out to the perpetrators. Chantal was allegedly abducted by Mejia in a Honda car. I think there was a eyewitness that pretty much helped to solve that problem right there. I remember the person saying that they saw she was taken into a car. And of course, that car was then affiliated to Mejia. The Honda car on number 2nd George Street in Gray's Farm on Wednesday afternoon. The Five Islands primary student was on her way home. She reportedly waved to her schoolmates from the car. This turned out to be the last time she was seen alive, and as a result of that, they were able to trace back to these people. But I'm not sure. No, brothers and sisters, I don't want to be one of the people who like is like an advocate, but people see you taking the girl from the car. In the car, you go with the girl is waving her friends bye-bye, and you think the best thing for you to do is to take the life of the little girl. I mean, I don't understand what kind of criminals is this. I really cannot get it right there. But that is just something I decided to put out there, guys. And of course, this is where we get into the vibrations. I love this video, guys. Actually, accidentally found this video. This is why I'm going to be playing this video a lot. And I think this video will cement, it should cement into the understanding of what is taking place in Dominica.
20 years of your life gone. None of you. You will now 67.
Bring that back.
20 years of your life gone. None of you. You will now 67 and you don't feel like somebody robbed you one day. You're not feeling like somebody robbed you of a life that God gave you to live in your own land, in your own land, in your own land.
Guys, I wonder if sometimes we understand what is being stated right there. Especially when Dominica has so much potential and so much resources that it can actually use to develop and elevate the people. Instead, we are seeing people getting rich while the Dominican people are getting poor. We're seeing how much houses and big businesses coming up. We don't know what's going on. Look at Kepinski. There's actually a video. I'll be doing that tomorrow of the same individual, brothers and sisters. Those of you who are part of my Miss Licks reaction, guys, I'll be reacting to the same video of the same tourist man who came down and was in Intercontinental talking about how isolated they feel in the height of tourism. But why is that girl named Dennis? Dennis want to say she trying to reach 500,000 addition. She trying to reach the goal of 500,000 stay over tourists in Dominica in 5 years. And tourists are making videos of them in Dominica. They come down, so there are people there in Dominica talking about how lonely they feeling in the height of tourism in Dominica. That same individual made another video, guys, of the airport. Tune in tomorrow, brothers and sisters. I'll be looking at that one as well. Now, there's a whole situation about Cuba and what Cuba is and this and that and what Trump is doing, so forth and so forth. U.S. threatens to take away Caribbean leaders' visas for working with Cuba. Now, they're not talking about the citizens. They're talking about the leaders. Because one of the reasons why they tend to do this is solely on the basis, and I need to tell you guys, listen carefully. Trump is not doing this on his own. He's not, a number of persons are saying, but Miss Licks, you always for Trump, what not, blah, blah, blah. I am clearly for Cuba. If you guys listen to my reaction video, I am clearly for Cuba. Cuba has done what no other country will ever do. And we'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. Now, the reason why this whole situation happened where they're trying to force the leaders to, so to speak, abandon Cuba is because the Cuban people in the United States, as well as those in Cuba, have been calling for elections for the longest time. And it has been to no avail. So I guess pressure mount. You have a number of persons who are in the administration who are affiliated to Cuba and have decided to bring this to Trump. And as a result of this, Trump has decided to push this philosophy on the people, saying, hey, you know, Cuba needs to have elections. The people have a right to vote for who they want and so forth and so forth. Now I understand the whole communism understanding. Now I myself, I am not too fond of the understanding that, okay, there should be some sort of quote unquote move from communism to democracy. Because sometimes you always see democracy. Look at Dominica. Dominica is a democracy and it doesn't really act like a democracy, if you understand what I'm saying. And in Dominica, there's always the move for foreigners to take precedence over the very citizens. Whereas in communism, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to push anything in that regard. I'm just saying, in communism, for certain places, not all, but for Cuba, it seems like the understanding there is to better its people with what it have, with what it has, despite of all the sanctions and the embargoes and those kind of things that have been placed on it. Cuba has done phenomenal with that understanding. But the reason why this is so that Cuba can have elections. Cuba can have elections and then they reflect the will of the people, so forth and so forth. I think they should put that on Dominica to reflect the will of the people and stop all this craziness from happening in Dominica. Okay, so that is why this is happening right there. It is solely because the Cuban people themselves have been asking for elections and they have not been getting it. There have been serious struggles going on right now because of the embargo leave that Obama did. There is high inflation in Cuba because they started opening up, and I think that was a bad thing that was done because serious inflation went up on Cuba as a result of it being behind time and then not having free range in the free markets to then be a competitor. This is one of the reasons why I always tell people in Dominica, we have been wasting too much time. You see the guy speaking about 20 years? Yes. 21 years, brothers and sisters. Dominica has been lacking, just behind. And then if Thompson then were to come in, you know what's going to happen, brothers and sisters? We have catching up to do. Just like Cuba has catching up to do, Dominica would have catching up to do. Even if Dominica is not a communist nation, Dominica has about 25 years of catching up to do. With all the other Caribbean islands that have elevated and have created serious competition, they are now Dominica's competitor. So with that understanding, Dominica has some serious work to do. Even if Thompson Fountain them were to come in and start doing things, it'll be a slow. It's not just, remember we went down, brothers and sisters. For 20 years we're going down. If in the next 5 years you're not just going to be shooting off flat. We're not going to be Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket. You know, we're not going to be like this. So there's going to be a gradual increase finally, but we have some catching up, serious catching up to do right there. Now, I want some of you guys to understand when it comes down to Cuba, what exactly is happening, or with the understanding why Cuba is what it is today. Before I get to that, let me look at the comments. Sorry about brothers and sisters. Let me look at the comments right there. Oh, French side. Okay, big up the French side, St. Martin. Eloy Hippolyte. St. Lucia is in the building. I appreciate the St. Lucia massive. I should be coming down there sometime for the jazz and arts. I think it has not been settled yet. So I just saying I think, because when things are not settled, I say I think. But hopefully I should be there for that as well. Bill Eagle, big up yourself one time. I know you are. Blessed Earth Strong. I appreciate the love from the Kinfield environment in the building. Juliet Coffee, very sad. My heart condolences to the family of the 9. Yeah, it's a very sad situation. Why would you just go and just take the life of a 9-year-old? Why? But then again, the thought came to mind on the basis of the little girl in Wharton Weaven. Is it Wharton Weaven? Around that region, brothers and sisters. Kenesha 18, brothers and sisters. She went missing. No trace, nothing. Gone. Ah boy. One day we'll elevate. Fragaria, crimes against children are the worst. Yeah, I agree. Just heartbreaking. Is it? Definitely. Major is pronounced Mia. Oh, in Spanish. Okay. Thanks for that right there. Big up the New York Massive one time. I will definitely be in New York later on this year. Hopefully, Trump to prevent people. I wouldn't have a problem, man. I'll be in New York. Don't worry. Garford Georgie, yeah, man. Happy birthday. I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the love. But to Toronto, the 6th, love the vibes. Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys loving the vibes, no doubt about it. Jeff from New York City. Big up the New York City Massive. Now, guys, on the merit of, I want you guys to listen to this right there. It'll pretty much give you a synopsis of what Cuba and what Cuba has accomplished.
Cuba is poor. It's a failed communist state. Really? You would be poor too if you were under a 60-year economic blockade, labeled as a terrorist supporter for daring to be socialist, and hit with endless sanctions. But
no, guys, it's interesting that he's mentioning the socialists. They want to be socialists. In other words, helping each other on the merit of everybody being equal. nobody can have more than the other. It's just everybody getting the equal share. That's what has been happening in Cuba. But the reason why it ended up that way is because the Western first world countries were trying to colonize Cuba, and Cuba successfully rejected these guys from taking over. And then you have the famous Fidel individuals who came in, and as a result of that, sustained the individuals and then promoted Cuba as the health practitioner, best health practitioners of the world. And they definitely did become that, because Cuba is on another level right there. I remember the individuals told me that he fell from a bike, and the Cuban doctors, they did something to his hand, put something on his hand, and his hand came back perfect. So I know these guys, they definitely know their stuff right there. Anyways, guys, let's continue. It's gonna go to the whole thing of the understanding, but you get the drift.
But
right
despite all that, Cuba is still outperforming. Cuba is poor. It's a failed communist state. Really? You would be poor too if you were under a 60-year economic blockade, labeled as a terrorist supporter for daring to be socialist, and hit with endless sanctions. But despite all that, Cuba still outperforms the US in key areas.
Yep.
Like what? Last time I checked, people were trying to escape to Miami, not Havana.
Yep, that's true. In fact, they had this understanding that if you were able to reach Miami, then you would automatically become a US citizen if you were Cuba. I think this is long gone.
That's cute. But let's talk fact, not feelings. Here's how Cuba, a tiny socialist nation under siege, stacks up against the almighty capitalist United States. Do you have time? Yeah. Imagine being the richest country in the world and getting beaten by a country that you tried to start for 6 decades. I guess socialist laziness doesn't apply when everyone has a job, right?
Yeah, I don't think Cuba has unemployment rate, but they say it has 1.39%. So that's very interesting. United States one is much higher than this. So, yeah. I think Donald Trump brought it to 4.1 or 3.9. Well, anyways, let's continue.
Hundreds of thousands sleeping on the streets in the land of freedom, while Cuba, under embargo, ensures everyone has a home.
No, that is incredible right there, brothers and sisters. Where everybody has a home, whereas in the United States, over 650,000 individuals are homeless. Now, according to the per capita ratio of that, Cuba is still better because it is reaching near zero, whereas the United States has close to about 350 or 390 million citizens. So that is also interesting right there.
In the US, getting sick equals bankruptcy. In Cuba, getting sick equals free treatment. Remind me again.
The question, as he's saying that day, my question here is, how on earth Cuba has all these sanctions and these kind of things, yet still they have free healthcare, but the United States cannot afford free healthcare, even though it has one of the most healthcare is one of the best income you can receive in the United States. There's a number of things they consider: the debt, health, and fair. That is the three things that creates great business in the United States right there. They have a lot of money coming into healthcare, yet still they cannot provide free healthcare. Cuba is on the opposite, yet still it has free healthcare. I don't understand. And education too. I don't get it. But it seems like all of these things is business. Everything here is just business.
Equals bankruptcy. In Cuba, getting sick equals free treatment. Remind me again, which system keeps people uneducated?
Yeah, well, we already know that in the United States, they're literally making people stupid. Literally. They are making the people stupid. Hold on a while, guys. Let me just make this
Cuba
clear.
has 3 times more doctors per capita than the US. That's why Cuba sends doctors to other countries while the US send bombs. Cuba, despite its embargo, has a lower infant mortality rate than the US. What's your excuse? More people die for malnutrition in the US than in Cuba. Let that sink in. Maybe you should worry less about socialist crimes and more about why the US cities look like war zones. Capitalism hoards wealth. Cuba has 3 times more. Cuba, getting sick equals free treatment. Remind me again, which system keeps people uneducated? Cuba has 3 times.
Yeah, okay. Guys, the American system literally keeps its people stupid. For real. One of the greatest questions in the United States, especially in 2023, going into 2024, early 2024, was, what is a woman? Can you believe that? college educated people did not know what is a woman. Today, people believe that there's more than two genders. To the point where the United States today has to then make it a legislation that there are only two genders. I mean, let's continue. Because I just get vexed when I see these things there.
Times more doctors per capita than the US.
Because Cuba knows Cuba uses its doctors as an export. That's one of the ways I think Cuba brings in money. I remember Mia Motley was talking about when there was a whole Rona situation. The Cubans helped her very well, and she paid them the same wages that she was paying the Bajan individuals. So that obviously is going to be a good thing for the Cubans right there. That's how they make their monies. And of course, they facilitate when it comes on to the medical fraternity.
That's why Cuba sends doctors to other countries while the US send bombs. Cuba, despite its embargo, has a lower infant mortality rate than the US. What's your excuse?
And you would think maybe these people are suffering, they're hungry and this kind of things. You know, no, that's not the case at all.
More people die for malnutrition in the US than in Cuba.
Yep. Because these people get their meals regularly. Is that, as I'm listening to it, is that the way that, is this what Dominicans want though? Because is this a mind from of laziness? Guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Dominicans want this set of thing? Because I know, Cuba tends to take care of its people because of the conditions it was put in. Dominica is free from this. However, it seems like the people are just reliant on the system that is constantly making them beg the very people that is supposed to serve them. For example, housing. Dominicans back in the day used to build a house cash. Today, man have to beg for apartment. And the apartment they cannot pass on to the family members. I think some people think that they can pass on to the family members the apartments that they're staying in. You cannot take your apartment and put it up for mortgage. That making sense? That doesn't make sense, brothers and sisters. You cannot take an apartment and put it up for mortgage to send your children to school. So, yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Let that sink in. Maybe you should worry less about socialist crimes and more about why the US cities look like war zones. Capitalism hoards wealth at the top while socialism makes sure that its people doesn't starve on the streets.
Well, there are social programs, and I don't think people tend to literally want to starve, but I think the people who tend to starve in the United States, they have some sort of mental problems. There's always food you can get. I remember I did a video for some company in Indiana, and we were studying the homeless population there. And we were talking to them, interviewing them, a number of persons saying this and that. The only part that really got to me was during winter time, where sometimes these homes are filled up. And, when they fill up, they just have to give you blankets and stuff for you to go and sleep on the bridge, which is kind of insane right there. Let's continue.
One sounds better. One exports war, the other exports doctors. Guess which one is called a terrorist?
Let me see what is written there again. 70 invasion, World War II, 60-year embargo, US invasion attempts, 638 assassination. Wow. That's something else. You guys are what? 638 assassination attempts.
Other exports doctors. Guess which one is called a terrorist? Hold on. Cuba has done all that under an embargo? Yep. Now imagine what it could do if it weren't being strangled by capitalism. Damn.
That's, I think, if you allow Cuba to go into the free market, Cuba might get destroyed there. It is because of the movement of what was done, and then they say, okay, let us see if we can make the best doctors in the world, which they are. Then they were able to export doctors. That's Cuba's, export. Doctors.
I never knew about that. That's because capitalism feeds you propaganda. But hey, welcome to the fucking reality.
I don't think, sorry for the cuss word here, brothers and sisters. It doesn't feed you propaganda. Capitalism, you work hard. I think the schooling system fails people. That's what I think happens. The schooling system fails people because the schooling system never prepares you for actual reality. It's kind of like giving a curriculum something that was happening back then, but it never updated to modernized time. Look at the schools in Dominica. Do we even know about AI? The world is moving into AI, and there's no programs for AI in Dominica. None. If I wrong, correct me, brothers and sisters. The world is moving into AI. What Dominica know about AI? Huh? Some of you don't even know about Chat GTP. That's crazy. Anyways, let me see what some of you guys are seeing. Right there. Okay. Cuba is not equal. They are upper class and poor. I think that used to happen when under Obama, when Obama released the embargo, quote unquote. It wasn't fully, released, but under Obama it was released, and then a number of persons were taking advantage of, the system, and some became upper class, so to speak, and then the others were normal. Me Gerald, so can get my visa this year. Yeah, you can always get your visa this year, brothers and sisters. It's just that I think that is a problem when it comes on to Dominica visa. When you're a Dominican and that's going to be a problem. Because as we continue in this year, live interaction, reaction, brothers and sisters, you're going to see what I'm talking about soon. So, just keep it locked, brothers and sisters. 142 of you guys in the building, and you mean to tell me you guys don't click the thumbs up button? Click the like button for me, please, brothers and sisters. We need to get that vibrations right there. Click the thumbs up button for me right there. I would appreciate that, guys. Click it. Let's get this thing going so we can make it happen. Anyways, this is what we are here to talk about right here, brothers and sisters. Hopefully you guys understand the whole Cuban situation. It is not the Cubans, it's not Trump pushing things, it's the Cubans asking for some sort of thing where they can get electoral elections. Just like Dominica right now is trying to push for proper electoral reform. We have electoral reform, brothers and sisters, but we want proper electoral reform, modernized proper electoral reform, reflecting voter ID cards with biometrics. You guys know I'm not for biometrics, but it's necessary. If it's necessary, we need to do it right there to prevent corruption from further happening. We also need to define what is bribery and cheating, because apparently it's not that clear. So individuals can be passing with $300 and $500 to give you during while campaign is happening in public. It's one thing where people used to give people things in secret back in the day. Today you're seeing people passing with envelope, coming and say, hello, look at $500, look at $300. Some people even selling their vote for a bag of cement that they didn't get last time, but come back this time to get it. I saw this lady speaking about it in Grand Bay. Some people selling their vote for a window pane. Brothers and sisters, my God, if that is not bribery, I don't know. If that is not treating, I don't know. We need to define that as well. I also think there needs to be a cleansing of the voters list. And I also do think one thing supposed to happen, that we need to either we remove the foreign people from voting, or the people who are staying overseas participating in other economy from voting, or we give these individuals 2 seats. So we lessen the amount of seats. There are 21 seats in Dominica. I think we should probably bring it to like what? 10? And then bring it to 11. And then add two additional seats for the foreign people to vote. Those ain't enough. I don't know how we want to do it, but that's how I think it should be right there. So if I'm Dominican, I need to vote. But the majority of individuals in Dominica would then give precedence to who they want. Then the 2 additional constituencies would be the foreign, people living overseas, whether you have Caribbean constituency and then the rest of the world, you'll do it that way, or, whatever ways. But I think this is necessary for Dominica to be able to have free and fair elections, and then include everybody. If you want to include everybody, have your constituency. Don't come Dominica and vote, because that does not reflect the will of the people that are living on the island. Same situation reflecting back to Cuba. Cuba wants to have some sort of level of elevation within themselves. They wanted the democracy, but then again, what is real democracy? That is the big question. Right there. Anyways, the draft list proposed travel ban for countries. Obviously, you saw, I don't know if you guys saw this on my thing, but Dominica is right there. Now, I personally believe they put the other Caribbean islands, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, and Antigua there as well, just like England did. It put all the other 5 Caribbean countries that were participating in CBI and said they're going to remove visa-free access. And the only one they took out was Dominica. The only one they took out was Dominica. So just keep that in mind right there. So when it comes down to the yellow list, brothers and sisters, pay attention to these countries that have been given the 60 days to address specific deficiencies. Failure to do so could result in partial or full visa suspension. But so it is one thing when you're trying to get a visa. I understand the sentiment of the individual asking the question. So if you can get your visa this year, well, if your government don't rectify this thing properly, I don't know. But it's one thing when you don't have visa-free access to the United States. Another thing when you have to get visa to go to the United States. And it's another thing when you need visa to go to the United States, but you cannot get visa because Dominica has been banned as a result of many things we're going to be talking about here soon. Dominica is among the nations on the list, along with Angola and blah, 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 other countries. Obviously, you know, St. Kitts is one of them. St. Lucia is another one. And we have Antigua and Barbuda. We're going to have them in a while. However, we have Haiti there as well, and Cuba. Cuba is on the ban list. Haiti is restricted. And then you have 60 days for Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts right there. The yellow list countries that have been given 60 days, blah, 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 so forth and so forth. You get the understanding right there. Now, brothers and sisters, I pointed out this guy. Hold on, let me go. Let me see what you guys are saying right there. He was not, okay. So I can, okay. A teacher in Cuba gets approximately 30 to 40 US. Oh, I think that went up. I thought it was 25 US and 25 US. Okay, 25 US, and then they get their basic needs met. So you get food, shelter, and clothing. I think that's how a capitalist, a socialist society works. You get food, shelter, and clothing, and then you get your normal 25 US per month or whatever to buy. Now, you might say 25 US is a lot of money. You might say 25 US is not a lot of money, but when it comes down to the exchange rate, it is a lot of money, especially if you go into places, and let's say in Dominica, you have to buy a bourbon biscuit for $1. Well, in Cuba, a bourbon biscuit might be 15 cents, you know? So you get the point. You might, doctor is free. Everything is free. You have food, shelter, clothing, plus you have medicals free, housing free. Well, housing. You have a number of things that are free for you. And the $25 you get is just for you to do extra stuff, you know? So I think that is what it is right there. Juliet Coffee is saying he's so right on point. I'm so proud of Prime Minister Motley of Barbados. Yeah, man, she's definitely doing a thing. No doubt about it. I do, however, have to disagree. I strongly disagree with her when it comes down to this whole climate situation. I strongly 100% disagree with her right there. Now, don't get me wrong. I think people need to take care of the country. They need to take care of the population and the pollution that goes up in the air. I definitely do think so. But I don't think the push that they push in there for this whole climate thing is a big issue. Because it's still the ocean that absorbing the carbon dioxide that they say pushing, making change. They're trying to take out cattle, you know that? They're trying to, the cattle, because they say the cattle letting go gas that affecting the atmosphere. That is crazy. Anyways, I get sidetracked. Let's go back. I was looking at different statements right there. Tribal is saying, what should happen to stop the overseas DA people from coming to break our election laws is to send a strong message and see if they accept scary bribe when UWP wins a arrest warrant for them. I don't think you can just go out and just send an arrest warrant for people. I don't think that's viable at all. I think what can be done is the same thing that I mentioned. We want to include, if the Dominican people want to include the foreign people, great. Have them have 2 constituencies that represent them. Okay? And then have the rest for the Dominican people. The majority should be the Dominican people. I think that's the best way to look at it. If we don't want this, then we say, okay, you've been out of the island for 5 years, you are no longer on the list. Who then has to clarify these things? And I think that is one of the biggest problems that Dominica has, because there's no level of clarification. Because there are people who have been, and I've known people who say they haven't been to Dominica, but their names are still on the list. Their names are still on the list. The question here is, how do you verify people who are not on the list? How do you do this? Brothers and sisters, we in Dominica, and we going to vote. We go to vote. Okay, great. We have. How do you know that I'm out of Dominica? How do you know that? You have the passport and this kind of information there, but who verifies these things? How do we verify? How do they verify that people are? Because when you're in Dominica, you don't go and check into the electoral office every 2 months or every 2 years or none of that stuff. So if you don't do this, your name is already registered, all you need to do is go and vote. What makes it so different from the people who are overseas, who come to Dominica from time to time, or don't come to Dominica from time to time, but when it's election time, they're coming down to vote because their names are still on the list. Sometimes their names are not even on the list, but they somehow changing their names or going under somebody else's name for them to vote. So that is even worse. That is even worse. This is why voter ID cards are necessary. However, brothers and sisters, on the merit of this sentiment, right there, I'll get back to the other individual in that regard right there. There's this is the president, and this is Zampoli. Now, for those of you who don't know, Zampoli was the individual who was the third individual who was supposed to benefit from the Kempinski resort. And the two individuals who got their money, I think they got about $30 million US. That's about $70 million. Brothers and sisters, 70 something million, 72 something around there. EC dollars. 30 million each. And they were going to bamboozle him. And as a result of trying to bamboozle him, he had to take them to court. And as a result of taking them to court, obviously, you know what the CBI sentiment was operating. So it seems like he was the one who helped push that, because he's also associated to who? Marco Rubio, brothers and sisters. You know Marco Rubio? You know it's Marco Rubio. Somebody told me that these are the two greatest enemies of Skerrit. Marco Rubio and Paolo. Anyways, as the top diplomat of the world, a new chapter of MAGA begins. So he's part of the MAGA regime. Okay? Make America great again. Now, brothers and sisters, a number of persons tend to compare Dominica, Skerrit, to Trump. How? How is that even possible? Trump right now is trying to do for his people. He's trying to put his people first. He's trying to make sure that when the jobs are coming in, it is his people that get the jobs. What is happening in Dominica? Skerrit making sure when the jobs are coming in, the foreigners get the jobs. And then if, by chance, the locals will get the dregs of it. How are they the same? I think we need to have a Trump in Dominica, brothers and sisters, to help put the Dominican people first. You see, in Grenada, they put the people first. Barbados made the move to ensure that they put the people first. And if they don't have this skill set in Barbados, then they will bring other people in. That is what I think should happen in Dominica. Instead, Dominica has this skill set. We bring in other people in, and then we're making the Dominicans leave Dominica to go and find betterment. One of the greatest examples of that, brothers and sisters, is the former manager of Domlec. She is still doing the same Domlec work she's doing, but she's doing it in a different country. Why? Because Dominica has failed, and has failed her miserably. Not on the part that she didn't know what to do, but on the part that she know what to do, tell the people what they need to do to ensure that Dominica has proper electricity flowing. And they completely ignored the lady. Today they're talking about IRC have to regulate this and that and all kind of thing. So we don't know if Skerrit them that doing that. We don't know. When Skerrit them decide they're going to buy generator for the people. Boy, anyways, I get sidetracked. But this is the whole point right there, brothers and sisters, that they're doing things for their people. Paolo is a U.S. citizen, and as a result of that, they have him part of the administration, right here, brothers and sisters, engaged in foreign policy and strengthening America's global leadership to safeguard the homeland. Obviously, he knows about the CBI sentiment and all those criminals that obtained Dominica passports and diplomatic passports. And because of that, he is part of, look at there, brothers and sisters, not me that making that up, A new chapter of MAGA begins, paving the way for decisive action on foreign policy and strengthening America's global leadership to safeguard the homeland. Now, if foreigners and criminals have obtained Dominica passports, and obviously Dominicans can then, not Dominicans, but the foreigners who have obtained Dominica passports can then change their names. You know what that means? They can then decide to apply for visas. And then you have criminals under this guy. It's like Dominica putting a mask on them to then go out there and enter the United States. Just like this is why United Kingdom and Dominica would have lost, well, I was going to say lost visa-free access. It lost visa-free access under the Labour Party, yeah, by the way, as a result of certain things that was happening. I think it's an association, but that's a whole other story right there. But with that sentiment, brothers and sisters, they have to ensure that they are safeguarding themselves from the very Dominicans, the new Dominicans, not the very citizens. United Kingdom had to safeguard themselves, so they're doing the same thing too. And he knows the secrets of what is taking place in Dominica. He knows it. This guy right there. I don't know if you see him. No, you don't see him. Yeah, him. He knows the secrets, brothers and sisters. So as a result of that, everything got exposed. This is why I think one of the individuals told me that's one of Scary's greatest enemies. Right there. But it's interesting that last year he met the president and he was shaking hands with the president and stuff. November 3rd is a profound day for Dominica, commemorating. This is him saying these things, commemorating the rich heritage and the history of the remarkable nation. It is a time to honor the resilience and the spirit of the Dominican people, reflecting on their journey to independence. Dominica's not really independent anyway, brothers and sisters, and looking ahead to a future filled with promises. It is a day to take pride in vibrant culture, natural beauty, and the enduring legacy of Dominica right there. So that's him, brothers and sisters. Interesting stuff right there. But travel ban come back. We're going to get deep into that, brothers and sisters. Keep in mind, I'm showing you guys these things. Pay attention. New travel advisory issued warning immigrants. Let me read that again. New travel advisory issued warning immigrants from several Muslim majority countries to avoid leaving the United States for the next 30 days due to a possible new Trump travel ban. So the Muslim people are telling the people, do not leave the United States due to the travel ban on the certain countries right there in the Middle East. Obviously, where is it? Where is it? I just had it there. This is it right there, brothers. So obviously, they know certain places are under that watch. And it's interesting how you tie in it, because the Muslim nations are warning their citizens not to leave. It's one thing when the Muslim nations are warning their citizens not to leave, extend your time so there will not be a travel ban on you. But it's another thing when there's the association of Dominica to that. We'll get into that in a moment. Oh, I just got a super chat. By the way, big up the individuals who tend to leave super chats. I appreciate that, no doubt about it. And Queen of Shorts TV is saying, happy birthday to one of my favorite YouTubers. I appreciate that. Thanks for the love. You are so funny. I love your videos so much. Thank you for keeping us informed and entertained. Your passion for Dominica is palpable. One love. Enjoy your birthday. Trust me, I enjoy my birthday. Brothers and sisters, there was a lot of food. And even this. You see this? I'm drinking kako tea. You know how long I don't drink kako tea. Because they know I love kako tea. So they bring a kako tea for me to drink. Yes, man. I get 2 breakfasts this morning, lunch, and yeah. So my belly. Oh, my fine, man. Thanks for the love. Right there. I appreciate the love. And the super chats and this vibe. Obviously, when you guys send the super chats, they do definitely tend to help the channel in that regard, because I don't upload much like I used to on the BRBP TV platform. So when you guys send the super chats, it's kind of help the chat, the channel as well. So I appreciate this, no doubt about it, guys. I'll get into some of the comments in a while ago, but let's take a listen to this one. So this is St. Lucia, brothers and sisters. St. Lucia is another country that has been put on a travel ban. Breaking news.
Breaking news. A March 14th New York Times report lists St. Lucia among 43 countries globally whose citizens may face restrictions on entering the United States.
Now, guys, one thing they fail to see is that this is a draft. This is one of the reasons why when I look at this, I mentioned in the reaction, I said this was a draft. It seems like people don't seem to understand what a draft is. They are compiling countries so that they can look into them. And then there's the finalized thing. Okay, so Just keeping that in mind right there.
St. Lucia is one of only 4 Caribbean countries identified on the list.
That's not true. There are 6 Caribbean countries. It's Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Haiti, and Cuba. So, yeah, person must have only gotten the yellow one.
That are currently being discussed by officials of the U.S. State Department. It is
By the way, guys, I'm part of the United States Department, so I just had to point this out.
worth noting that the 4 Caribbean nations, Antigua, Dominica, St. Kitts, and St. Lucia, all promote and manage controversial CIP programs.
Very controversial indeed. Now keep in mind, brothers and sisters, they say controversial. Yes, there's some slips and cracks in the other countries, but Dominica, last week, Dominica is on a whole other level right there, because Dominica has criminals obtaining Dominica passports left, right, and center, and not just criminals obtaining the normal Dominica passports, but the diplomatic passports. Remember Alison Maduke and Aliriza Monfared, money launderers. They were what? They were Dominica's ambassadors. You know that? Oh, you forget not true. Okay.
There is no doubt that implementation of this proposed new measure will have widespread implications for the government and citizens of St. Lucia.
Now keep in mind, brothers and sisters, I make a comparison on the basis of the Cuba situation. The Cuba situation was to bring pressure on the government, and if the government did not comply with this, then the government will lose their visas. The government will lose their visas or visa access to the United States. However, this one here is not just for the government officials, but for the citizens. Even though the decisions of these things have been made for the citizens, but they have been made by the government officials. Always very interesting when it comes down to Dominica, because Dominica doesn't get much of the money. Even carried steady to the Dominican people, all the monies that have been raised on the CBI apparently is not for the Dominican people, even though it's the birthright of the Dominican citizens that they're selling to foreigners. I tell you, Dominica tends to put its people last in everything. We get the dregs of CBI because there are billions more that actually are out there, from our understanding, especially from what Lennox Linton has been stating. There are billions more out there that have come to Dominica. They even used the 10 to 90% rule. 90% stays out there and 10 comes down to Dominica. And nobody's saying nothing. We complain about the hospital. We complain over and over. I have lost people. Recently lost a friend of mine, Pat. Then somebody lost another individual. They charged him for murder now. Interesting. He spent 8 days in the hospital. Apparently the hospital probably didn't have the necessary equipment or training to make sure that man gets the right treatment or healthcare that he needs. And then, bow, he gone. Pat stayed in the hospital for 5 days. They're trying their best to see if they can get him to fly out, because Dominica does not have the necessary equipment. Yes, so we have all these monies outside there, and people complaining about the very hospital when the government come in and tell these people we can send our children and family members overseas for better medical attention. And then as the citizens who vote for him to create better medical attention for them, he asking them, what about you? Boy, bruh, it's truly something else.
Let us remain alert as we follow this frightening prospect.
Frightening indeed. I don't think Dominicans understand how frightening this is. This is shocking stuff. Brothers and sisters, this is not about just saying, oh, you can lose visa access, It's not just saying that, There's a lot more that will follow after that. A lot more. You see all the tourist boats and these people coming in. You know where they're coming from?
Took office on
You know where majority of them coming from?
January 20th.
You know what is...
President Trump issued an executive
next week. What? Wait a while. But But if it's March 14 that come out, due next week, that's one of the questions I needed to ask you guys. If they say 60 days from where? The beginning of the year? But it cannot be the beginning of the year because if it's January 20th, February 20th, March, so that came out on January 20th. If she say next week that this is due, that's her. Yes, Lord.
State Department's Bureau of Consular Affairs has...
No, man, let me go back. I probably don't hear that properly. Guys, all this has to do with CBI. That's it. CBI. And we know the abuse that the CBI system has been doing across the world. It is only a matter of time. And keep in mind, they have been watching this for quite some time. I know. There were talks. I know they have been watching this for quite some time. I've been following this thing from since when the UK issued the first warning saying that Dominica and other Caribbean countries, not just Caribbean countries, but CBI countries, should not use visa-free access to England as a selling point. Dominica don't care. Dominica still did it. I saw it myself. I saw it myself. To the point where they actually came to, European Union came to Dominica this time. And they have a whole situation talking on this kind of things there. Making sure that the government officials knew exactly what they're talking about right there. And then Skerrit want to say, oh, we believe that we are putting things in place and so forth and so forth and so forth. And soon enough, Dominica will receive visa-free access to England again. And then less than a week later, England warning its people not to come to Dominica. Brothers and sisters, you see when your leaders start to lie and they lie to you blatantly, I think that is a huge disrespect. I think that is a very, very, very grave disrespect right there. Okay, let me see what some of you guys are saying right there. Trump did well to squeeze the island. Tribal is saying Trump did well to squeeze the island some way or somehow. Scared has to come out. Yeah, he does. He does. Because if he don't answer, and one of the stipulations they are there, we'll talk about it in a moment. One of the things that they have there is that he have to come clear when it comes down to issuing passports to banned countries. Okay. So yes, he did well in that regard. And I think we have Paolo Zampoli for that, for exposing this sentiment right there. Brothers and sisters, 190 of you guys in the building. Almost 200 of you guys are in the building. Hopefully we can get to 200 in this reaction vibes. Definitely, guys, click the thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate that right there. 190 of you guys in the building. Click the like button for me right now, brothers and sisters. We can do this, man. We can do this right there. But I definitely do think so in that regard. Even if you hate Trump, and sometimes you might not like what Trump's saying. Sometimes I don't like what Trump's saying. He just talking, shut your mouth, you know. But I like his actions. I like the things that he's doing, you know. I like the things that he's doing. They say you don't listen to what people say, you look at what they do. We listen to what Skerrit's saying, and then you see what he's doing, and you're saying, but what you're saying is completely contrary to what you're doing. How is he looking out for the Dominican people? We have no idea. No idea at all. But he's saying looking out for the Dominican people. Giving them house, while you kill the economy so that they can stand on their own. Giving them house, and then you're making the people, oh, you give me a house, I can stay in. But you forget you could have built your house if the economy was doing well. They used to do it back in the day, you forget. So, anyways, brothers and sisters, click the thumbs up button for me, please. I would appreciate that right there. LL, we live in a digital age, for goodness sake. Our data can be stored and updated, tracked online. Yes. Whether you believe your data cannot be tracked or whatnot, brothers and sisters, it is. Only on Facebook, not true? Only have WhatsApp. You remember the whole hoopla that was happening with WhatsApp and Facebook, and people was like, no, they don't want the data to, and people were leaving WhatsApp to go on Telegram. You remember that time? Well, they wait for things to cool down. And then bow, they start creating copies of your WhatsApp on Facebook. You know that? You don't know that. Okay. Well, you know it now. Davidson Talbot, been a long time coming. We will hold those criminals responsible for the crimes. I do think it has been too long, man. Too long. But I do think that it's the Dominican authority that is supposed to hold these people responsible. Because anytime I look around the world and there are certain things happening, like for example, Ali Reza Montferrat and Alison Maduki, it was the countries that held them responsible. Remember when what's his name again? Ali Reza Montferrat was trying to escape and they find him in Dominican Republic. You remember that? It is his country that had him. So if Dominica not doing that for it to ensure that the justice is served, who is going to do it? Who? We have a Caribbean jail. Brothers and sisters, it's not still Dominica that has to do it. Or maybe England will have to do it. Who will do it? Especially when you're a diplomat. How is that even possible? Because it's Dominica that is supposed to hold them responsible. Remember when the justice system ruled that elections should not happen with the states and Skerrit still call elections? Did the CCJ send Skerrit jail for doing that? Nothing. That's it. It's an interesting question to ask, isn't it? Anyways, Jeff is saying Dominicans like everything for free. Yeah, they like everything for free. Not just Dominica. I think everybody like everything for free. The problem with freedom, brothers and sisters, is when you get greedy. Not freedom. Freeness is when you get greedy. Live for others now. No, you want all for yourself. Well, if you want all for yourself, go and work hard for it now. No, you just want all for yourself. So, that is something else. Dominica vibes, big up yourself one time. Jeff, Dominican are lazy people. Dominicans like to see you. I think one of the things Dominica should promote, especially when it comes down to tourism, because we have nothing else, is to promote the islands as the Seawoo Island. Every month have an event. Not for the people, because I don't think the people will be able to afford every month. Then again, the promotions of Dominica kind of suck. It sucks. So that is another situation right there. Dominican vibes is saying, myself need a diplomatic passport. Which one? A Dominican diplomatic passport? I don't think you want that, no. That has been riddled with too much corruption. However, the crap Trump want to do is ridiculous. What Dominica doing is absolutely minuscule when you really compare to what is going on in the world stage. Well, in the United States, there's high corruption. To the point there's, I think about, based off what was discovered under the Doge system, about $10 trillion of corruption. And it's interesting when you look at the other party, the Democratic Party, when it comes down to the situation, they don't look at the corruption that was found, They know it's there. They are focused on the people who finding the corruption and saying the people finding the corruption should not be there. That is the whole purpose of their existence. But anyways, brothers and sisters. Okay, guys. So I'll continue reading the rest, but we have to continue. So hopefully you guys understand this sentiment right there. However, St. Lucia has definitely... So they reached out. They didn't get a response, but St. Lucia reached out in that regard right there. The government of St. Lucia is confirming that it has received no formal communication from the United States of America, USA, on media reports by the New York Times and others alleging that St. Lucia is included in a draft list of visa restriction recommendations. The government of St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Embassy in Washington, D.C. are actively seeking clarification on this matter. Media reports have proposed that St. Lucia is to be placed in a yellow category of countries. This is one of the reasons why I say maybe the draft is not the final. It's a draft. They consider the draft. And maybe after the draft is finalized, then they're going to put it out and they see 60 days. I think that's how it's going to roll. Because I'm checking, the draft can't be the final thing to then say, 60 days. Unless he's talking about the 60 days. The person in the news article in St. Lucia is talking about from the time that Donald Trump came in on the 20th to the March 20th, then the final thing will come through, and then Dominica and the rest of the countries who are on the list will have 60 days to clarify a number of things. We'll talk about what they're going to clarify in a moment, but the government of St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Embassy in Washington, D.C. are actively seeking clarification on this matter. Media reports have proposed that St. Lucia is to be placed in a yellow category of countries which would have 60 days to address concerns. We'll talk about the concerns in a moment. The United States is a friend of St. Lucia and remains a key partner in St. Lucia's development. We look forward to an even stronger relationship between our two countries, to the point where I believe that the United States is also looking into a number of countries to put the embassy. They want to increase, because the United States wants to get more involved in the Caribbean. And one of the ways that it wants to do that is to put more embassies into the Caribbean. And one of the places that it wants to put another embassy is in St. Lucia. I think St. Lucia is one, Guyana is the other one, and I don't know where the other one is. But it wants to get more involved in the Caribbean. And I think that is a good thing, because I'm also for the United States, you know. Sometimes they do crazy stuff, as long as they do push their crazy agendas. But that's why I like Trump. No crazy agendas coming in there. But of course, the U.S. is a friend of St. Lucia, as indicated right there. We look forward to an even stronger relationship between our two countries. The government of St. Lucia will provide updates on any official, obviously, brothers and sisters, when official updates come in, I will definitely let you guys know what's up. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you've not done so yet. Subscribe, so of course you'll be notified in that regard right there. Antigua is also another one when it comes down to this merit, because Antigua was also on the list. As you can see, Antigua is on the list right there. Let us listen to what Antigua Prime Minister had to say in that regard.
Relates to an article in yesterday's New York Times, which claims that the U.S. government is preparing a list of 43 countries from which travel will be banned or restricted. According to the article, Antigua and Barbuda is among the countries that will appear on the restricted list. This morning, I requested our ambassador to the U.S., Sir Ronald Sanders, to dispatch a note to the U.S. government seeking confirmation of the article's claim, and to make it clear that our government has worked harmoniously with the U.S. to ensure that our relations are mutually beneficial. We were especially careful to emphasize that our government maintains a sanctions policy fully aligned with that of the U.S. Treasury in all financial matters. Furthermore, regarding the Citizenship by Investment Program, CIP, Antigua and Barbuda does not accept applications from any country that is currently on a U.S. banned list.
That is one of the stipulations right there, brothers and sisters. That is one of the things that they have to clarify. Because when I did the reaction, brothers and sisters, I was talking about the sentiment that they were saying that there should not be countries purchasing citizenship for a country that is on the U.S. ban list. Because if that be the case, then obviously, like I indicated before earlier on in this here reaction, that people can come in and then they can change the name afterwards and then start applying for U.S. visas to go into the United States. This is why although it's a longer process, but that means criminals can also enter inside there as well because of that process. And you know, Dominican passports were sold to a number of criminals. Even the Dominica Prime Minister claimed that Dominica has the most robust due diligence process, and Dominica had the most criminals, and not just criminals that obtained Dominica passports, but the diplomatic passports were given, from our understanding, especially for Al Jazeera. It was given by the Dominican people. The very man who made the connection was on Al Jazeera talking about it. And then and Ali Reza was in thing doing criminal activities in his country. And when the police come, he pulling out his diplomatic passport. You're in much trouble, Dominica. You know, Antigua, make sure they tell them we have no affiliations to giving people passports in banned countries. The question is Dominica the same? Is Dominica... problem, brothers and sisters.
All applications are rigorously vetted by recognized international agencies, including Interpol, to ensure that no applicants with any criminal background or current charges, including terrorism,
Troy, can Dominica say that? Guys, that's a big question right there, you know. Can Dominica safely say that they have not been selling passports to places that have been banned or to any criminal enterprise? It is one thing when you doing due process with the Dominica passport, normal passports. But it's another thing when you're giving diplomatic passports to criminals, boy. Boy, I tell you, boy. I think that is where Dominica is highlighted amongst all the rest. And this is one of the reasons why I'm fearful of Dominica. I'm fearful of Dominica in this regard. Very, very much fearful.
Considered. We also affirmed our intention to continue working closely with the U.S. government on this matter. Therefore, while I cannot guarantee the decisions of the U.S. government, I'm confident that upon any objective analysis, it will be found that there is no reason to restrict travel from our country.
And Antigua might escape from it, because Antigua has made themselves transparent. Dominica, on the other hand, is vastly different right there. And with that sentiment, we have Dominica Roosevelt's carrot. The government of Dominica wishes to clarify that it has not received any official communication. It seems like Dominica took the same thing that has been stated by the St. Lucia. It's like they take what St. Lucia make and then they just copy and make it their own. I don't know. That's just something I noticed. Anyways, the government of Dominica wishes to clarify that it has not yet received any official communication from the United States regarding a draft list of 43 countries recommended for visa restrictions, following media reports indicating that Dominica is on a yellow list and will be given 60 days to address certain concerns. The government has instructed its ambassador to the United States based in Washington. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that, brothers and sisters? Who is the ambassador in the United States based in Washington, D.C.? Anyways, they instruct the ambassador on finding clarifications to make the necessary inquiries seeking clarification. Dominica values long-standing and cordial relationship with the United States and is committed to strengthening this partnership. How? Because we getting boats from the United States? Are we getting planes, a few planes? How? It doesn't seem like Dominica cares much, because you know that the enemies of the United States, well, then again, each individual can act as its own entity. But when the citizens themselves don't even know what is the MOU between the very countries that you're trying to think, and we know these countries can be secretive, and you also leaning into that secretiveness of that country, whereas in the United States, you're saying that you're trying to be cordial, and right now they're going to be looking into that sentiment. This is one of the reasons why I say, guys, although they have other countries there, it seems like they focus on Dominica, And there's much reasons to be focused on Dominica, unfortunately. Brothers and sisters, we are 183 of you guys in the building. 61 likes that I can clearly see right there. Click the thumbs up button for me, please, brothers and sisters, so we can share this stuff further and further out there. Thumbs up, brothers and sisters. Thumbs up right there, guys. Before I continue, let me read some of what you guys are saying right there. So, Dominica Vibe saying he needs diplomatic passports. Tim Asuna, isn't a ban for this country's diplomats' visas? Yeah, for the Cuba one, is diplomat visas. This is not a normal visa. The government officials do not have normal visas. When you become a government official, you are part of the diplomat. Even the senators, I think, are also, the senators also get diplomatic passports, from my understanding. I could be wrong in that, guys. You guys can clarify that for me. Anyways, people are jumping the gun again and misinforming the people. Yeah, that tends to happen a lot. Biden wanted to block African diplomatic visas if they made Yeah, that was insane for me. That was insane for me right now. Right now, Africa is looking into creating its own unification. So I think probably in the next five years, that's going to be more prevalent. So I know certain countries, I think 3 African countries have already started that movement. And one of them is a military guy. I think I forget his name. But I like that guy. He seems to be doing a lot for his country, especially when it comes down to the agricultural sector. I like when government officials are literally working for the people. I think that is what a government official should be. How on earth should a citizen be questioning if a government is working for them or not? I don't understand this, man. I don't understand that sentiment at all. You wondering if your government is working for you when you clearly seen objective reality showing that your government is working against you. How truckers have nurses, healers, teachers, students, police, everybody, every single sector, everybody has protested against the government of Dominica. Everybody. The problem with that, brothers and sisters, is that everybody was supposed to be unified. When the truckers got there and protest, the nurses, the teachers, the policemen, everybody's supposed to come together so that the truckers can finally get something going. They give the truckers the dregs. The dregs. Boy, Elaswi? Elaswi? Yes, man. Tim is saying no one's showing anything official from the White House. Nothing. Okay. Thumbs up to all the participants. Appreciate that, no doubt about it. Juliet, thank you for saying that right there. Tim, first it was 4 Caribbean nations and 22 African nations. Now it's 43 in 3 hours. Well, 4 Caribbean nations in the yellow mark, but there's actually 6 of them in there. One is banned Cuba and the other one is Haiti, has a partial restriction. But this is the draft. This is the draft. I think this is the whole point of this right there. No official White House information. Smells like fake news. It's not fake news now. If you think it's fake news, you will find out soon. You fake news. You see, New York Times are reported coming in. Anyways, and then there's the Association of Zampoli was linked up on the foreign policy understanding right there. David, now their eyes will open at long last. It still won't open. It still won't open. The officials of Dominica are very hard-headed. When you mean the representatives come in and tell the citizens of the country that the country is doing well, when you listen to certain people in parliament talking about bright and creamy, but see, come on. In the same community that they're not doing nothing for, they come in and tell you that people opening for longer hours, that means it's a good thing. People opening for longer hours because they haven't met their quotas. They try, sometimes, some businesses doesn't make a dime. In fact, they're making a loss. Because when you say they have the electricity, the fridge, all these kind of things, and they don't get to sell nothing for the day, they still have the electricity to pay. They still have their waters to pay. They still have these things, sometimes rent. They still have these things to pay. And they haven't made a dime and they have to stay open. And then people coming in parliament to talk about all these businesses are doing well, bright and creamy. They're opening for longer hours. Really? Bruh. Sometimes you just have to shake your head and just wonder. Wonder, brothers and sisters. That's why I'm wondering as well. Why you guys haven't clicked the thumbs up button yet? Click it for me, please. Right there. What else? Where was I? No, the eyes are open. Okay, or maybe just maybe the leak is fake democratic news. Nah, it's real. This is real. Okay, this is not fake. This is a draft. This is why I don't think the officials have gotten it yet. But the draft came out, and then I think the finalized thing will come into effect. And then when it comes into effect, 60 days will happen. This is what I think will happen right there, because the whole situation of the 60 days being next week doesn't make any sense. But I think it's a 60 days time frame for the draft, because this is the draft list. And then, yeah. Where was I? Scott. It's not Dominicans. It's PM Scary doing that. Yeah. But it's not Dominicans doing it. I'll give you the example of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom did not want to remove visa-free access to Dominica. It didn't. It tried its very best to not remove visa-free access to the Dominican people born in Dominica. But it had to. Why? Because they were associating Dominica to the very foreigners themselves, who never set foot in Dominica, but they wanted the privilege that Dominicans have. This is why they removed visa-free access. So that same sentiment can be applied. If you get my drift. So at least it shows that security is representing the people. And this is why it's important for people to elect leaders that will be to the benefit of them. It's very clear that the benefit of Skerrit is for himself. I'm calling his name, Roosevelt Skerrit. You increase your salaries, your bonus increase was $4,000. Some people don't even making $1,000 per month. Your bonus alone, increased bonus per month, was $4,000. Sometimes people have to be working a whole 6 months for them to even get, last week, for them to even get the 4,000 additional money that's Kerry got on top of his paycheck. I think that is very sad, man. But, it is what it is, brothers and sisters. Dominicans need to stand up, just like the Cubans need to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough, and then make a move in that regard right there. Negotiation tactic by Trump. I think so. I think so. J Standards, you are 100% accurate in that regard. In negotiation tactic by Trump. I think one of the measures when he's doing this whole tariff thing, you realize that certain things that they say sometimes change, especially when it comes down to the tariff situation. Yes, tariffs have been put, but it's only to measure. I think in April 2nd, one of the things that they're going to be doing is to meet the same tariffs that other countries have put on America. People want to pretend, is America alone not putting tariffs? Sometimes America never put any tariffs on no countries, or the tariffs is very low. And other countries like Canada, I remember I seen certain aspects of Canada. Canada has sometimes between 200 to 300% tariffs on top of America, on top. And then the man want to put 25%, and people go haywire with it. So people, guys, we need to understand what is happening to understand what is taking place, man. So yes, I definitely do think it's negotiation tactic. One of the things that he did with the European Union, they had a nice rapport, and European Union brought down their thing and they level it out right there. So, it's a negotiation tactic that there. He might sound like but I know that's what he's definitely doing. If you're paying attention, you will see that's exactly what he's doing right there. Davidson Talbert, black market sales are sweeter, makes more money for them. That's true. I can argue with that. So, hey, KB Lyric, the people are so lost. Even if they restrict them, they still wouldn't see a problem. Well, let them do see problem. Sometimes some people don't even know. Well, sometimes some people don't even have never left Dominica. They have never left Dominica. They have never traveled. I seen people come. I saw a set of people when they had this whole groundbreaking situation in Wesley or wherever it was for the airport. And I know some of these people out there will never travel on that. I know they will never, if international airport build in the next 5 years, they will never travel on it, but they go in and celebrate. They go in and celebrate. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and celebrate, man. You will travel on plenty international. You'll go Dubai. Go ahead. Oh boy. Yes, okay, let me just continue with this right there. I talk plenty on this right there. The Dominica Valley is long-standing. That's what the government say. We don't know how they value it, but, they have to protect themselves. The government of Dominica will remain actively engaged in this matter and provide more information as it becomes available. Will they? Or will they come and do what? They'll come and have press conference and then make up their own thing and so forth. But you know where I stand, brothers and sisters. I will also get the information too. When I get the information, I will definitely pass it on. But of course, for Dominica, being on the yellow list means that the country has a 60-day window to rectify certain issues identified by the United States government, such as inadequate security practices for issuing passports or failing to share information about travelers. If these concerns are not addressed within the specific time frame, Dominica could face travel restrictions, potentially limiting and suspending the issuance of certain visa types for its citizens. Interesting. Could it be that they might restrict the school visas? Could it be because they say certain visa types and we have plenty visas you can get? There's work visas, there's student visas, there's visitors visas, business visas. You can get all these things. So which visas will they be restricting? If that be the case right there. But I also think they need to restrict the visas for the diplomats. And when they do that, things must change. That's a fact. Passports. If a country lacks stringent measures in its passport insurance process, it may be easier for individuals to obtain fraudulent traveling documents. That's one of the reasons why Dominica had to change its passport or hasten the track for passports. You know why? Because when there were certain areas in the Middle East that were selling Dominica passports, and I guess it was easy to print these passports, make these passports, and boom, They were selling them coming online and showcasing the passports for people to buy. So this is why they had to move into the e-passport. I don't know, is it e-passport there? It looks normal. But anyways, failure to share information about the incoming travelers, countries that do not provide the US with necessary information regarding travelers may hinder effective security screening. And I think this is one of the things right there where I spoke about people can change their names and this kind of thing there. I think this is where it comes in. It's not that people obtaining passports, but also tracing back to the origin. And they think that is what they're talking about right there. Because they're not just talking about Dominican normal citizens, they're talking about tracing it back. Since Dominica is affiliated to a lot of interesting countries, they need the information of the travelers or incoming travelers. And as a result of that, if the countries do not provide the US with adequate information regarding travelers, of course, it may be hindered effective security screening right there. Selling citizenship to individuals from banned countries. Who is known amongst all the Caribbean countries to be selling Dominica citizenship to banned countries? Who is known? Not Dominica? Huh? Not Dominica, brothers and sisters? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Dominica is one of the places right there that is known for that. Some nations offer citizens to individuals from countries already under US travel ban, potentially allowing them to bypass the restrictions. I indicated how they will bypassing the restrictions by definitely giving the Dominica's access, and then a few years later they can change the name and then, do these things. So this is not a good look, especially for Dominica, especially when the Prime Minister was saying, we have the most robust due diligence process. You can come and tell the Dominican people that, but you're not telling people overseas, you're not telling the overseas people that, you're not telling the international community that. You're not telling them that. You can't tell me that, much less to tell them that. That's kind of interesting right there. Brothers and sisters, the Council of America and blah blah has issued a travel advisory urging lawful permanent residents, students, workers, and other immigrants from several of these nations, countries to avoid traveling outside the U.S. for the next 30 days. I just indicated that right there. Now, these are some of the countries. And tell me if I'm wrong, brothers and sisters. Do you see any name on this list where Dominica has participated in selling passports to these places? Do you see any of these countries, brothers and sisters? Do you see? Do you see anyone there? I see some, if not all. I see a good bit of them right there, brothers and sisters. And to the point, this is what I was talking about right there. I actually did a reaction on it.
Dominica, but because I'm Pakistan citizen by investment over there.
This is what I was talking about a while ago, brothers and sisters. The ATL group. These people were selling Dominica passports.
It's not from Dominica passport in this. Okay, they on their own there.
They are the different English
to individual.
And it's stamped. Were these people authorized to sell Dominica passports? Yet still, these passports have been stamped to go to countries that they most likely were banned from. This is why I tell people, be careful when European Union ready. Don't be surprised there. All right.
It was 24th October. That was about 4 days ago, I guess he traveled. I think this is a stamp to say that you've traveled 4 days ago, 24th of October. And yeah, he's pretty much showing us that he got his passport right there from this ALT group. This is
more them
alt group thing again. This guy got his passport as well. And on my understanding of the whole thing, guys, like I said before, I don't think this is the problem. The problem I have is, where is the money going? How much money is Dominica making? Who is giving the account for that money being made?
I should have also stated, would these people authorized to sell passports? That's another question right there. They just have Dominica. Can you imagine that, bro? They just have our passports. They just have it there. Come and buy. Come and buy.
I understand.
I want to see the table. I remember there was a table.
International. That's in London.
You go Gatwick.
But this, you were his name. Another
that person.
Dominica. Yes, we know that the Dominica
in Gatwick.
The past. You know,
I want to see the table. The table I'm looking for. The people on the table selling that. I don't understand. All these people travel. Brothers and sisters, we see some names there, not true? You see the names? I wonder which country that's selling. I wonder, boy. I really, really wonder in. Interesting stuff, ain't it?
I guess
All
these
right,
are
Papa.
people. These people for them to look.
Yeah, look the
The
table.
amount of money what
That is the question. That is the thing Annette had asked about. And then the government want to pretend, oh, it's not real. Boy.
or Polish everything. Hey, boy. Like all of themselves was involved in some sort of criminal activities in the United States. I can them in East
I
when the
think
man
this is Pakistan. Look, they have the passport. They is British. Britain 2021. And this is during the time where the British government was telling Dominicans and other CBI passport sellers, stop using visa-free access as a means of selling the passport.
is the but Dominica Benny we go free passport. You go Germany. Guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
Germany, let me see. Don't need it all that day. But we saw some countries.
The passport is Dominican. Wherever they you have to go. I think it's in the United.
I see. So we've seen the evidence before us, brothers and sisters. We've seen the evidence before us. Dominica recommended for partial suspension. Well, remember you guys have to show up here. You have to show up. If you do show up, well, that is all you, eh? That is all you. Where thing go? Okay, come back. I tell you already, Dominicans, we need to stand up. If you do not stand up, it'll come out. Man, that will just sweep you from your feet. It'll sweep you. And you'll wonder what went wrong. But then see, sometimes we tend to wait long. We have waited long enough for Scary to destroy Dominica. He has destroyed Dominica, brothers and sisters. Destroy the economy. Dominica is the worst. The last Kakarot. St. Vincent is not even close to Dominica. St. Vincent is free from last. Dominica is the last. Dominica is the only one that is not a $1 billion economy. We used to be a $1 billion economy. Skerrit was bragging about being a $1 billion economy when everybody else was fast surpassing that. Antigua right now is heading to $6 billion. That is 10 times better than Dominica, to the point where Antigua, Gaston Brown can brag. When a Dominican message him stating Gaston need to check his people instead of worrying about what they're giving Asa. And Gaston Brown spoke the truth. Moving from $3.8 billion economy to a $6 billion economy. I mean, sometimes you might not like Gaston Brown because of his associations, and sometimes might use the same metric that Skerrit trying to use, but Gaston is working. I think there needs to be a change, no doubt about it, because there's some level of corruption inside there from our understanding. We need to find it, but there's some level of there. So there needs to be a change. When there's corruption, there needs to be a change, brothers and sisters. And I think that is very, very interesting when it comes down to what is taking place in the nature island of the Caribbean. The man exposing Dominica, telling what Dominica is. $2.2 billion increase is bigger than the very GDP of Dominica. Sir. And they just created Barbados International Airport, so that more people can come in. This is why they make sure that they're telling the US government, hey, all you have us on list, you need to take us out. Because we are transparent with you guys. We have been clear. Everything is fine, and that we do not sell passports to no banned countries. Take us off. Take us out there, please. That is what they're saying. Take us out of there. You think Skerrit can come and say that? You think Skerrit can come and say that? Not the other day he threw Lauren Bannis under the bus for is it Syria? Whoever they're trying to do diplomatic passports with brothers and sisters with a terrorist nation. Boy. Yes, we'll be on to us. Huh? All I know, I'll be fine. That's all I know. I'll be fine. What happened to me in 2016? I'll be fine. Thank God for the opportunities, man, and the associations made. Let's see, brothers and sisters, what some of you guys have to say right there. Okay, so Pascal Roach, where am I? The people ask, okay, Pascal Roach is saying, good job, Mr. Leaks. Thank you for the information. It's only then them diplomatic passport holders Trump is targeting. Yeah, he's targeting them when it comes onto the Cuba situation. Because he wants Cuba to hold elections. Because the Cuban people have been complaining, saying, hey, we're elections, we're not getting elections, all those kind of things, and blah, 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 so forth, so forth. Okay? So that's what they have been saying. This is why Trump is pushing for the leaders to try to force the Cuban doctors and the association of those who have Cuban doctors to try to force Cuba to have elections. That is the point. I don't have any win balance in this. I am siding with Cuba when it comes down to what Cuba has done for its people. Despite of the heavy, and we just saw the video, you guys can go back, those who are late, you guys go back in the video and look at different parts of it, and you will see where we're talking about Cuba and so forth and so forth. So that's also interesting right there. So I appreciate the love, no doubt about it. Yes, man, I appreciate the love. Blessings, MacGyver. Blessings to you as well. Garford George, I appreciate you for keeping us, the Dominican Massive Worldwide, in the loop with interesting information. Thanks, man. I love doing it. I love doing it. I have the skill sets to do it. I will definitely do so. They say many people die with the abilities for them to do certain things. They die without actually utilizing their gifts. I use it all mine. I need to however go back into music, man. Music was my main thing back in the day, man. And I remember when I performed, man, and I watched the crowd, man, and the crowd was just, bruh. Those who have ever seen me sing before, you know what I'm talking about right there. You know exactly what I'm talking about right there, man. That is, I need to get back into that. No doubt about it. But yeah, I love doing this as well. This is like my gift from it, because I'm a auditory prowess, and then I became a visual prowess right there. So I appreciate the love. Juliet's Coffee is saying, you have me laughing about the breaking ground and traveling to Dubai. Yeah. Yes, man. They think they're going to travel to Dubai. Yeah, they think so. They might travel to Dubai, you know, but can they afford Dubai? Dubai not cheap, you know. Dubai not cheap. Probably have money to spend. When you go over there, it's like 5, 6, 7,000 US dollars you have to spend there, unless you're associated. That's another story. Brothers and sisters, click the thumbs up button for me, please. I would appreciate that right there. There's a lot of you guys in the building today, man. A lot of you guys in the building. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Maybe you guys checking it's my birthday, so you're coming through. I appreciate the love, man. And even on my birthday, I'm doing this, man. We rocking it steady easy. You have to do what you gotta do. And I also appreciate the super chat as well. These guys, what was I? I've been laughing. Okay, yeah. Davidson is saying these guys are criminals. I agree with Trump leaders need fixed. Yeah. Guys, one of the reasons why I wanted Trump to definitely win was because of what is happening at present. Because sometimes when the people don't want to do it, we need outside help. And we have been asking for outside help over and over and over. And when we get it, because it doesn't appear to be what we were looking for, then we're fighting against the very thing that is helping us. Expose this CBI, man. Expose it. We have the Trinidadian situation happening with the CBI. Hopefully that can join together. Most likely we'll end up joining together. Problem that heavy. It's just unfortunate that even if Scared were to leave and he needs to leave, Dominica has been dropped so far down. So far down, my God. Probably not even my lifetime I'll be able to see Dominica become its full fruition, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. You know how long I've been talking about these brothers and sisters? For around 20 years. I've been talking about this. Talking really and truly. That is crazy, man. But thank God I didn't just stay there and just talk. I also had action following suit. And with the action following suit, brothers and sisters, different opportunities came to mind. To the point where even Scared ended up sharing one of the opportunities. Scared share me, you know, guys. Yes. Scared share me. Hey, when they found out, we didn't tell them nothing, you know. They found out coming. The US Embassy told them about us. And then they found out and they shared it. So that was very interesting right there. Where was I? These guys are criminals. Davidson Talbot is also saying they were busy promoting backdoor visa entry. That's what they like. Scary didn't say we have a backdoor culture now. All that in it, eh? All that in it. Juliet Coffee saying good vibes, Mr. Leaks. Well explained. Thanks, much appreciated. Thanks for being here as well, Juliet. I appreciate you for definitely interacting with me as well. Luella, appreciate the love for the birthday. God blessings with you, many more. Appreciate that. As long as God give me life, trust me, there'll be more. And I know He does protect me, so I have no fear. No fear. MacGyver again is stating, but what I can't understand when a citizen you mean a citizen? That's something else. Yeah, but I get your point right there. Citizen. Anyways, he's making a demand for a passport. But when this criminal with money they inherit by taking, killing, stealing, and all kinds of acts unknown to Dominica. You're probably talking about the Scott said situation. That self. Let me not even get in that. Let me not even get in that situation. Right there. Avril, yeah, you're a bit late, we. I decided to prolong it a little bit because I see you there. Avril, you come late, but you can always go back in the video at this end of this reaction vibrations, guys. I thought I was gonna be there for like an hour and 30 minutes, man. Almost 2 hours here. I mean, that's crazy, bro. I guess I like to talk. I like to bludge, boy. Yes, man. But I like to give information to people who are seeking it. I don't just like to keep things for myself because ignorance is bliss. And when the nation is ignorant, you know what happens? Dominica. That's what happens. Right here. Antoine Talbot, hello, can do. He knows what he's doing, that dirty fish. Yeah, Scary know what he's doing, you know. Yeah, man. He definitely knows what he's doing. But he never thought it would come up in that way. Yeah, the international community have to bring pressure on him. And I would urge them to do so. I know some of them might be watching right now. I would urge you guys to do so. Bring the pressure on Dominica, man. Do what you have to do. MacGyver is stating the business working good, Papa. It's so hard for us Dominicans to get our own passport. Well, the foreigners getting it easy, you know. The foreigners, they have the money, so they buying it. And nothing wrong with selling passports, you know, brothers and sisters. It is when the wrong set of people have obtained the passports. That is where the problem comes in. It's also on the merit of how much money was paid for these passports. Was there an amount paid and then on the table monies paid? What's going on in that regard where individuals are enriching themselves to the point where they're building not their building, it has already been built. A 28-story building with luxury, 4-story luxury car parking in Dubai. But hey, what building we have now in Dominica? Oh, these dark secrets. Okay. April, happy birthday. Appreciate the love right there. Pascal Roach, happy birthday to you, Mr. Lakes. I appreciate the love, no doubt about it. I appreciate you're the love. Huh? I appreciate you, the love have for your I appreciate the love you have for your country and fellow Dominicans. For me, guys, it's not just about Dominica because I'm associated to a number of countries. But I think Dominica boy, is to see the potential that Dominica has. And Dominica has more potential than the rest of the Caribbean countries. The rest. St. Lucia is like a mini Dominica, but Dominica has more. You know? And St. Lucia doing far better than Dominica. St. Vincent has around the same thing, but less. Way less than Dominica. Because the closest to Dominica would be St. Lucia. But St. Vincent has way less. And St. Lucia is doing double what Dominica is doing. Double. Antigua is not even compared. Antigua is just a gigantic beach. It's a beach. A beach, brothers and sisters. Dominica. I really appreciate the $5 super chat. I appreciate that much love in that regard right there. Thanks so much for the contributions, guys. And for the love for the birthday. Pascal Roach, happy birthday to you, Miss Leaks. I appreciate the love for your country and fellow Dominicans. I love my people, man. I love my Caribbean people. I always want to see my Caribbean people do well. And it's just unfortunate that the leaders that they elect, or the leaders that they fall short to, seems to be just working against them consistently. A loved one was the list given, just joining. Well, this is the draft. This draft that was posted. I'm waiting for the final list. But obviously, I know Dominica is definitely list because Dominica has been of great concern when it comes down to the international community. And you know, England definitely spewing the beans on Dominica. European Union spewing the beans. European Union came to Dominica, you know, was in Kepinski, having meeting. European Union, they come to Dominica. They're making sure Dominica know. Dominica full of potential, boy. Dominica, we're supposed to have a set of water parks all over the place. A set of water parks. We're supposed to be building our rivers so that we can create dams. These dams then can then provide hydroelectricity for Dominicans. And then we can have a fixed price. Just using, because the water will constantly be flowing. All we have to do is ensure that we create these dams and build back the trees so that vines can come in and ensure that these things stay steady. And I understand the sentiment that sometimes when rain falls or there's a hurricane or something, these rivers tend to fill back up. But you're supposed to have a measure where you can just make this thing flow faster. Or you open up some portals and make this thing run very quickly. I mean, it's engineering and understanding these kind of things there. How do I know this and these people don't know this? Then we complain, Dominic will complain about, oh, water level is low and all kind of things. Nonsense. We have solar. St. Lucia, St. Kitts, they have solar engine. Bruh. We have the Atlantic Ocean. There's something called the wave form of energy. The sea always moving back and forth. Because of the back and forth movement in the Atlantic Ocean, we have the Atlantic Ocean right there. We can connect these things. In Scott said and give Scott said power. Scott said still have hot water things. We can go into the geothermal and understand that they're just wasting time. They should do these things first and then go into the harder one last. But no, we decided to go after the harder one first. For what reason? Money laundering? Some people might say it's money laundering. I definitely do think so as well. Anyways, brothers and sisters, this is pretty much about us for these vibrations right here. There's 84 of you guys in the building. Well, not 84. There's 153 of you guys in the building. 84 likes. And thanks so much for sticking with your boy on this whole 2-hour ranting I had to give right there. I appreciate you guys for sticking to with your boy and, of course, interacting with me. Much appreciation for the interactions. I think this has been the best interaction I have ever done with you guys right there. Respect the truth. Hey, I'm just coming in. You come in, but you can always go back to the starting of the video or watch it tomorrow. Maybe you have to go and sleep or something. I don't know. Big up to the individuals from the UK who was watching these videos. I know sometimes, you know, you guys can stay on. You have to work tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. But you still stay tuned with your boy on this regard. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Respect the truth. You'll have to go back in the video. You have to go back in the video. We're about to end. But make sure you click the thumbs up button for me, please. When you're thinking. Hendrix Ishmael, after independence, who benefits? Do we have the ability to govern ourselves as a people? Yeah, of course we do. Dominica has a lot of skills and talented individuals, you know. I also think that a number of persons have left because of the reasons why Dominica is not providing the best output for them. Output so they can create their input. Dominica is not doing that at all, so they have to leave. However, if Dominica finally has liberated itself from the clutches of those who kept Dominica down, I think a number of persons will want to come back and, of course, give back to Dominica. Everybody wants to be at their home, you know. You think the people outside in the different Caribbean islands want to be there? I know some of these folks who are there and they're doing well, but they'd rather be in Dominica, but unfortunately the economy is not doing well for them, so they have to leave. They have to stay there in the other countries and work and, you know, try and mix and try and sell something back and all these kind of things. Actually, you know a girl who is in Nevis right now. She tried her best in Dominica last. Today she happy. I remember this particular person I used to work with. I met this person in St. Kitts. And the person was heavily in debt. My God. Heavily in debt in Dominica. Thank God she got an opportunity where in the country she's in today. She tell me she doesn't have to work 2 jobs, but she's already making a lot of money in the first job. But because she has a lot of time, brothers and sisters, understand, oh my God, understand the power of time. She has a lot of time, so she decides to get another job. On top of the job that she's already getting paid a lot of money for. Because where she is has a lot of opportunities. And not just opportunities for you to make mediocre monies. I remember back in the day when Ross was there were some people working in other different places, and they were also working close to the Picard in the afternoon. They used to work 2 jobs, trying to make a little ends meet here and there. But the lady tell me she making already ends meet and she getting to save. She has living wages, but because she has more time, she decides to get another job that is not tasking on her. Oh, brothers and sisters, you know that lady ended up clearing her entire debt in less than a year. Bro, boy, the lady was heavily in debt, boy. Heavy in debt. She go to another Caribbean island, and the lady clear her debts, all her debts, in less than a year. And people in Dominica balling. And all the other islands that Dominicans tend to go, they are smaller than Dominica. I know one of my partners went to Cuba and studied 2 days in England. He specialized in a specific field. He's in England. You think you want to come back to Dominica to do what? People in Dominica, doctors making $5,000 easy. That's why it's best you try to pass Trump and go and work in Burger King. Because Burger King people making more than all you. $5,000 easy dollars. Burger King people making about 2,000 something. 2001, 2003. 2,000 US dollars is about $5,300. They flipping burgers. You working hard in Dominica. Bruh. Hélas, we. Hélas. I see some of all you. Okay, let me see what you guys have to say right there. What's the real truth about Mel Troxy? Is he rich? Yes, Mel Troxy is rich. He's gonna be richer. I think they're still looking into the case, but something of that sort. But yeah, Mehul Trotsky, yeah, he's good. He's good. That's all I can say right now. Would a rich man? Why did he come backdoor for his first? Mehul Trotsky didn't come backdoor. He was sent, and there was a plane that was sent to Dominica to pick him up. That was in cahoots. And the Dominican government want to pretend, oh, he come and meet some girl. Really? No. He didn't come and meet no girl. They kidnapped the man. And they beat him up. When they beat him up, they put him in jail. And thank God there were a number of persons, I think there was a lawyer or something, so and took his picture. That was evidence enough. And then they sent him back to Antigua. Davidson Talbot, imagine Antigua had to rescue Dominica plantain farmers. Yeah. Imagine that. Antigua. Well, then again, Antigua can't produce plantain, so I guess that was to its benefit. To the point where Antigua is now making Antiguan plantain chips from banana plantains. They're not calling it Antigua and Dominica plantain chips, you know. Antigua buying plantain from Dominica and then it making its own plantain chips. And then I think it's selling it to New Zealand and to other places. Antigua that doing that. So immediately Dominica couldn't create plantain chips. We have some sort of plantain chips selling locally from Dominica. Immediately we can make a business out of that and sell it to different Caribbean islands. But then again, when your leader doesn't want you to elevate, that's what happens. Antigua buying Dominica plantain, making plantain chips and calling it Antigua plantain chips and selling it overseas. So in other words, if they were buying a plantain for $5, then they make the plantain chips and they're selling it. The plantain chips is called 10 US. They'll send the plantain chips for 10 US and they buy your plantain for $5 EC dollars. That is about 230 or 2 something US dollars. They're selling the plantain chips for 10. So that is almost 3 times. What? Almost 3 times. Almost 4 times. Well, no, you get the point. Almost 4 times, brothers and sisters. Almost 4 times the amount that they're making right there. Sometimes they might even sell it 15 US. They have it as an exotic. Boy, things Dominica can do. You mean to tell me what is happening in Dominica not intentional? I mean, come on. We have to wake up, brothers and sisters. We have to wake up. Hendrix is saying, what is the self? What? Well, if we have the ability, why do we keep voting to remain on a plantation? Well, I think there are wicked Dominicans. There are Dominicans who feel like we should continue voting for Skerrit because they don't like Lennox Linton, or they might not like Thompson, or they just because it's their team. You see, that is a problem I have with people, when it comes down to the sentiment right there. A lot of people are looking at the party as party. They're looking at the country, they're looking at the party. They call it partisan, brothers and sisters. And I think that is where people fail. And I think it's on both sides. Why? Because when I look at logic and I think of logic and I'm asking people certain things, on both sides, I thought it was only on the liberal side that was happening, but apparently it happened on the United Workers' Party side as well. Now keep in mind, I side with the United Workers' Party in Dominica. But when it comes down to the supporters, sometimes the same set of mentality the liberals have is that's what they have. One of the things that I notice is lacking in Dominica is a lot of knowledge is lacking when it comes down to certain things, especially common sense. People you expect to know better, they have the same mentality, they're just doing it for the other side. And I think that is very, very bad when it comes down to the elevation of mankind. Very, very bad indeed. Let me see what else is being stated right there. With the people in charge, CARICOM, the AU, the EU, all funded by Europe and United States. The ownership in the Caribbean is owned by foreign people. Well, who you think selling them out? Who you think selling out Dominica? Selling out all the land to foreigners? There's something else. We all civil servants on a plantation, Hendricks is saying. We don't own the businesses. We are not the contractors. Who are we? The slaves. The slaves indeed, brothers and sisters. We have the black people in military uniforms brutalizing their own people, where blacks are unchanged. One of the things when it comes down to slavery, I realized something. And I always used to think, it's the white man that used to do black man thing and all kind of things there. White man have their blame to take, no doubt about it. They have their blame to take. But who set the precedence for white man to do this? The black man. Now, if that was happening back then, brothers and sisters, you don't think that would still happen today? It might happen in a different form. For example, making sure foreigners get all the jobs and the locals don't get. That's the same thing, because you're keeping your people down. Whether you're doing it economically or you're doing it in chains, you're still keeping your people down. So that says a lot, especially when it comes down to leadership. And people voting for the government, I think majority of Dominicans want to make a change, but then you have the foreigners coming in. When I say foreigners, you have the diaspora coming in and tilting the scale. If you're in Portsmouth and you know 45% of Portsmouth will vote, and then when you tally your thing, you're seeing 35 or 40% of the people will be voting for you. What do? You try to bring at least 7 to 10% more. When you bring 7 to 10% more, then it's going to tilt the scale where Portsmouth is going to be on your side. So that's what tends to happen in Dominica. My problem with that is I don't think 30% should be voting for the enemy at all. There should be no one in Dominica voting for these people. I don't care if it's $300 or $500, your money they're giving you back. And you taking that and becoming slaves to the very people that are giving you your own money. They're using your own money to enslave you. That is something else, boy. And sometimes the people that liberate you are the people that don't have your color. Just like, for example, slavery. Who do you think liberated? Yes, the blacks were fighting and so forth and so forth. But the true liberators of black people were not black people, They were white people. It's crazy for me to say that to some of you guys, It's crazy, but it's true. It's very true. Dominicans, let me see. Sean George, yes, I missed the list. Big up yourself, Sean George. Big up yourself. I only stay in 4 minutes. 4 minutes, I stay in there. Some of you guys come in, so I'm just giving my thoughts on it right there, just for you guys. But you might most likely have to go back in this video. Vincent Gregoire is saying electricity too high. So Dominicans can have factories. Can you imagine the Prime Minister saying electricity that they are regulating? They are the ones behind it. IRC, yeah, sure. But who is in charge of IRC? Not the Prime Minister, them now. They are the ones regulating it. And then they come in and tell you the reason why they have factories is because electricity too high. Now, understand me, brothers and sisters. If you have factories and electricity too high, then that means maybe what you're doing in the country is not conducive for proper processing or for proper performance. And as a result of that, you should probably try to take out the taxes that you have on electricity, maybe. Because there's taxes on electricity. You see, like gas. When the government talking about, oh, we're bringing on gas and all those kind of things there, they never cut down now. I saw St. Kitts cut down their own way. St. Kitts cut their gas prices in half, you know. What the government receiving, they cut it. So in other words, if St. Kitts was received, by the way, St. Kitts bring down their VAT. But as you know, that's already here. Let's say 10% is on VAT. And $100 you have to pay. I say $110, you know, brothers and sisters. $110 or $10 out of the $90, out of the $100 goes to the government. But if the government decides, you know what, let me cut that by half. Let me put 5% down. If I put 5% and I'm only collecting 5%, then that means gas price is going to go down by $5. But the government wants to maintain its cut. So what it did, it increased the prices. I think it also increased the amount it was receiving, then it bring it down. So that means it was getting more at the end of the day. Right there. It's interesting how people don't, economics, I don't understand. People just don't know how economics working. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let me see what else you guys are saying. Davidson is saying Dominica cannot afford to buy Antigua plantain chips. Well, some can, not all. Hendrix Ismail, if we are educated, we should worry about one thing. Why do we help foreigners get rich? If it is pure madness, it is a form of madness. Okay, I understand what you're saying there. I agree. Why do we? But take, for example, the Chinese. Sometimes the Chinese might come. Okay, my clear example. There's a certain apple juice I just tend to buy, and I see it in a number of stores. Sometimes they sell it $7, sometimes they sell it $8. By the Chinese, they sell it $6. In an economy that is not conducive, you think, okay, I need to support local. Would you say in an economy where your salary doesn't increase, fees are going up, you tell me you're going to leave the $6 one and go and buy the $8 and $7 juice, the same juice? I don't mind if it's a different juice, you know. It's the same juice. They're selling for $7, $8 when the Chinese have it for $6. What would you go and buy? Would you not go and buy by the Chinese? So I think that is also a factor right there. Or sometimes you can buy wholesale. It might be cheaper. Dominica cannot afford to buy Antigua plantain chips. Okay, just say that. Hendrix says the foreigners themselves who are coming to vote is helping the foreigners get rich. Well, I think the whole situation with the foreigners getting rich is because of the government. The government giving them priority, and as a result of getting priority, the people get the dregs. So the people who actually taking home the real monies, for example, Kepinski, we have 3 individuals living in for about 75 million US dollars. 3 individuals. Now you say, okay, Kepinski is needed in Dominica. We need Kepinski. Okay, great. Not much people come. There's less than 10% capacity at any given time. Less than 10% at any given time. In fact, there's a foreigner actually did a reaction of I mentioned earlier on that he himself was wondering if there are people there. I guess they had to meet and realize that there are like 10 other couples there. So apparently each couple has their own building to stay in. Well, with that sentiment right there, there's no elevation at all. None whatsoever. And I guess that's what tends to happen. Hendrik is saying most Dominicans who migrate to foreign countries are also domestic servants that will never get rich. Well, depends on the economy you go. One of the things that I learned from the wealthy people, especially Nina Vaca, I remember sitting down with Nina Vaca. Nina Vaca is the founder, CEO of Pinnacle. You guys can Google her. She's one of the individuals I sat down and I had a chat with. I also had a chat with the Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson. I had a nice talk with him, and I had another talk with some Michael guy. He's some guy in charge of sports and all those kind of things. And one thing that they were saying right there, it is not what you can do per se, but it is what you can do, where you can do what you can do. So in other words, if the economy is not conducive, let's say I'm doing videography. I tend to do videography from time to time. If I'm doing videography in Dominica, I might get paid $500, $750. If I'm doing the same videography in the United States, I might get paid $3,500, $4,000 US. It's the same videography I'm doing, just in different locations. And I remember she telling me that specifically because she herself went through that for herself. She from the Caribbean, and she elevated, move up, grow, and so forth and so forth. It is not what you can do, but where you can do what you can do. Just like I mentioned, brothers and sisters, on the merit of the marble or stone. If you go to the market with a stone and you're selling a stone and they ask you how much and you say $5, in the market you say $5, they might give you $5 for it. If you go to a corporation and they ask you how much for it, you say $5, they might give you $500 for the same marble. I think this is one of the reasons why people migrate so much. Because just like I mentioned about the doctor situation, doctors are in Dominica making $5,000. Doctors in the United States, you know around what they make? Good money. I say good money. I was going to say something, but the person in the thing, they told me how much they make. They make good money, brothers and sisters. Good money right there. Sometimes I know, I wonder, anyways, the yearly salary is like almost close to $250,000. Almost close to $250,000, brothers and sisters, per year in US. Dominica's yearly salary is $60,000. Dominican doctors, $60,000. Interesting, ain't it? Hendricks is saying if you go back to slavery, hold on, most Dominicans who migrate to foreign countries are domestic servants. Okay, if you go back to slavery in Africa, the blacks were just like the ones in Dominica. Japanese would never be slaves. They would take their lives. Okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the very people who look like you are the ones keeping you down. The very ones, I remember my first stint of true videography were not in Dominica, brothers and sisters. Were white people. White people gave me the opportunity to do something. I remember my first check, $800 US for something so simple. And I check in, but when I will ever make it $800 US in Dominica for videography. And my skill sets are crazy, brothers and sisters, when it comes down to videography and photography as well. But I'm more focused on videography because I like videography better. I like to see the art form come to life, man. And when the people watching that and they seeing that, yes, man, I love that. That's why I love videography more than photography. But I can do both. I remember I did a GIF photo for company. And there's people wondering, why is the photo moving? Why is the photo moving? Yo, that was funny. Anyways, after God, everything is made in China. Not everything, but most things are made in China. Hendrik Ismail, there is something wrong with blacks globally. I think it has a lot to do with slavery and what slavery has done to the mind of black people. Because I don't think before slavery, blacks were like this. Remember, blacks were the ones who were the founders of knowledge. Well, black and brown people, I would have to say, were the founders of knowledge. The Moors were the ones who told the new race of people who came from the north, the Mount of Caucasus, how to, you know, do certain things. So it's just unfortunate that, you know, blacks have fallen victim to their own demise. That's interesting. Vincent, anyways, Dominica may soon have a Chinese good distribution facility. Yeah, not sooner. I heard it on the radio. I'll be reacting to that tomorrow. I know exactly what you're saying. I have the video. Look for it tomorrow on Mr. Lick's reaction, guys. When you migrate into other people's country, they are not going to work for you. You will never be their boss. And they are right. Well, I don't think so. I don't think that is an accurate statement, because when you see you migrate to other countries, because actually no. I know a girl that went to Canada and she's the boss right now. Now in Dominica, she was struggling for her to elevate because apparently there was probably pull string or something of that sort. The girl left Dominica, went to Canada, and in 1 year time, she was in charge. She was a supervisor in charge of a good amount of people. The opportunities that they never gave her in Dominica, she got it in Canada. So that is debatable. If you want to, and one of the things I like about America is it should be met well. How Donald Trump is doing these things now, how it used to be back in the day was merit based. So they don't care who you are, what you look like, none of that stuff. If you are competent in your actions, that's why I get a number of gigs, because I'm very competent in what I do when it comes down to the videography field. And nobody has ever given me a bad rep when it comes to these things, because I love what I do. It's almost impossible for Dominica to become the CEO of Walmart. Well, I don't think you want to become CEO of Walmart, because Walmart have their own people. Unless you have your own chain, then you can do it. Max Masson, at the end of the day, if Dominicans choose to be tebe and not open their eyes to the reality of the world, then it's by choice. They live in the country. Take a head dive. You know, if you want to fall behind, you fall behind. That's on you, eh? I always tell people to try to elevate themselves, and if they don't want to elevate, hey, that's it. We allow ourselves to be slaves, indeed. We allow, especially mental slaves. When we choose to say ignorant and just swallow what anybody and everybody tell us, then that is part of remaining slaves. We allow scary to give all our money to people whose family never died. Before slavery, we were also selling each other. Yeah. Well, I think the whole foundation of slavery was because of people hating on each other and capturing people and so forth and so forth, because the Bible spoke about that as well. It was black and brown people enslaving each other. LL is saying, but Miss Licks, Dominicans need to be encouraged to either stay or to read. No, I tell all Dominicans leave. Those who cannot leave, try and fight your best, because the economy in Dominica is not conducive for you to elevate yourself at all. Now, if you know you getting of age and you think, if you're a little person, I still want to tell you to stay. If you elderly folk, you make yourself in Dominica, great. You stay there, you try to make it happen and so forth. But people who are trying their best to see if they can make it, I don't think they should stay in Dominica. So I'm not encouraging people to stay in Dominica at all, especially in the state that it is. If Thompson them, elevating Dominica come through, the less people it have, the better it'll be, so that the country can revamp itself and as more surplus is coming in. Because keep in mind, if you have unemployment rate high in Dominica, it'll be better that people leave. When people leave, there'll be less people to take the jobs, and then probably have a level of competency happening in Dominica that can start elevating Dominica. Whereas the people who left Dominica can then send monies back to Dominica to help boost up the economy as well. If you have 100,000 people overseas, and they're giving $10 back to Dominica, 10 US, that is $26 million. You know that? 26 million EC dollars a day. If people were just giving $10 back, so that can actually help Dominica. Especially where Dominica falls short. We can probably use that $26 million to build factories. Then factories, the leaders find the right markets and those kind of things that is untapped with. And then they sell these things, they go there and they push these things. Thompson was talking about using digital economy, which is a good thing. Working online to different businesses, people pay you money, circulates. One of the things I never understood, brothers and sisters, in America, that scared them, decided they don't want Dominicans to make US dollars in Dominica. Claire Harbour wanted to pay people in US dollars. I think Ross wanted to do the same thing too. A number of US companies wanted to pay Dominicans in US currency, and the government said no. Is that a government for the people now? Hendrix is saying our problem is deeper than slavery. Why do we accept working for foreigners in our own country? Well, the reason why we accept working for foreigners because the leaders put the priority on the foreigners. And when they put the priority on the foreigners, look at what is happening in MMC. When MMC, we will tell you what we're going to pay you for your land. Really? I mean, it stopped with the leaders. It's not only Dominica. The Arab enslaved blacks before whites. The Arabs used to enslave themselves as well too. Whites used to enslave themselves as well too. So, blacks also used to enslave. Blacks used to enslave blacks. I don't think they used to enslave Arabs. I think I need to clarify that. I think that happened too. Because the Muslims used to enslave black people. It's very interesting that bruh, let me not get into that. Vincent Gregoire. Guys, this is the last one. I said I was gonna go a long time, but I just decided to stay a little bit and have a little conversation with you guys as well. LL, Vincent is saying, LL, if one goes to study industry, engineering, and technology in manufacturing, what are they coming up back to get employed in? Exactly. No manufacturing, no factories, no upward mobility. Why return? Yeah, I agree. Plus, Trump, them have decided that it makes sense that the people that they educate and train should stay in America. And as a result, they're planning to give them, the people who graduate, green cards. What Trump is doing is not racist. Trump is taking care of his people first. Yeah, I think that's how every country should do it. You take care of your people first, make sure your people are safe, and then if there's extra surplus, you bring in more people. Just like with the marijuana industry, what was actually going to happen to Dominica when Scary come and tell the people, I think it's during November independence, Scary come and tell people Mary Jane is not a growth factor for Dominica. Guys, let me go here. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Click the thumbs up button for me, please. Don't forget to do so. You guys, there's quite a number of you guys even remaining after this time right there. I was just talking to the folks and you guys remain. So I appreciate you guys, no doubt about it. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, guys. I appreciate that right there. Let me just read the last set of comments and then I'm going to roll out right there. I have to stretch my legs, man. I have to finish my kakoti too. Yes, man. So Hendrix is also saying, my friend, great job. I appreciate the love right there. Thanks to all those who also gave a super chat. Share the love. Sometimes you guys do it with your funds, and I appreciate that right there. Sometimes people meet me and they give me a little something. I do appreciate it right there. I don't feel like I should be taking funds from people, but I figure, hey, a number of persons want to support the vibes, and as a result of supporting the vibes, then they tend to give their stuff. So I appreciate that. I also appreciate the super chats on this here as well. Max Marson, every group was slaves at some point in history. The Chinese used to enslave their people too. Everybody was slaves at one point in time. It's like it was culture or something. That's why the Bible even spoke about it. The Bible never condoned it, but the Bible also spoke about two different types of slavery. The slavery for the punishment, and then there's slavery, those who give themselves up to slavery. Just like we have in this time, people giving themselves up to work 9 to 5s. Just so they can make $10. Can you imagine your time is worth $10? If you get $10, you waste the entire hour just to make $5. What is the minimum wage in Dominica? $7? Yes, brothers and sisters. Vicky, big up yourself one time. I appreciate you being in this here chat. Even though you're late, I'm about to leave. Thank God I stayed a little longer so you could come through the chat. At least you stay late, but at least I appreciate you coming in. Big up the UK Massive one time. You don't know. Right there. Vicky, big up yourself one time. Hendrix, you are a capitalist. Take everything people give you. Well, I work hard for what I want, So if I do work hard for it, if I wasn't this stuff, I would never take nothing from nobody. That's the kind of person I am. But when people say, okay, I like your vibes or whatever, and to contribute to you, then they give me something, I definitely do tend to take it. Right there. Vicky, I appreciate the happy birthday wishes. It's almost over right now, so I am definitely happy to be there with you guys for my birthday. But I am also rolling out right now. Thanks so much to the 100 and something of you guys in the building right now. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. At least give me 100 likes in this year live reaction interaction right there. If you've not done so, click the thumbs up button, sister. With that said right there, I appreciate the love for every single one of you guys. Anyways, guys, the boy Miss Slicks wrapping up here on this year BRBPTV live interaction reaction. Be real, brothers and sisters. I see a comment. Have a safe night. Yes, have a safe night to you too as well, Juliet, and all the others. Hendrix, you as well. Big up yourself one time. And Vicky as well. Stay blessed. Be real, brothers and sisters. Be positive.